Well, can't drive on the road at night, cause you come with your lights so bright, like you want blind me for spite. It is overbearing. Me and you never had no war. Why you spot the light on me for? Is it accidental or you just so uncaring? Every day you bout me complaining all the things that ain't going right. From now on I will be explaining which place you could spot the light. Spot the light in the parliament and see who is looking out for you or barely fooling we. Spot the light the right places and find out who is on the people's side and who's selling out. Don't spot it on me, you joke. I don't be at no port when guns coming in. I am sure cowboys and Indians, no, don't spot it on me, you idiot. When taxpayers' money waste, don't spot it in my face. You better spot the light and who run the place. I don't run the government. I know if the computer, don't spot it on me, Bozy. Spot the light on the DLT. Oh yeah, yeah. Aye, aye, aye. Walaka. Blinding you with the LEDs. Them that are doing as they please. And then tell the authorities I feel violated. Go spot them in the treasury. Then you will see if the economy living off borrowed money that IMF dictated. Light is a great disinfectant. Use it, don't abuse it at night. Cause all that hide in the darkness must come out in the light. Spot the light in the board meetings and see who is representing you, or the rich minority. I want you spot the light the right places and find out who is standing up for you, or just running them out. Don't spot it on me, no way. I don't have any clout, no power, no say, but hey, and I ain't got no land to give away. Don't spot it on me, you idiot. One fired, another one quit. Don't target me one bit. You better spot the light on the cabinet. I may drive and get annoyed. Check my front and touch a boy. Don't spot it on me, you insane. You spot the light in the wrong lane. Why, aye. Walaka. When you see me on the road at night, make sure that you dim your light. I give you valuable insight. Time for activation. Aim the light, aim it all about. Human cockroaches running out. Places you will never dream about. Need illumination. Wickedness reside in high places. Time for you to make wrong things right. Corruption is hiding dark spaces. In Barbados, let there be light. Spot the light on the police, you can choose. Some are real professional, some protect the shoes. Spot the light in the courtrooms and find out why them hardened criminals out here walking about. Don't spot it on me, you freak. I can't give a big speech, I've got the whole world, so I'm based. All now I still getting praise. Don't spot it on me, you creep. I ain't looking at the George Street, I know who get cussed or beat. Spot the light out in Robert Street. I never tried to meet with Trump or get sick fed up man to jam. Don't spot it on me, yeah good. Spot the light in Ella Rapport. Crime out here getting worse. Spot the light on the AG first. I ain't laughing out none. Spot the light on the Kaisonian. Admiral might agree. Spot the light by my friend Gabby. I know what's good for my health. Spot the light by a blinking self.
Well, there you got it. Spot the light, spot the light, spot the light. I tell you, you got to spot that light, man. Let me tell you, what's done in the dark is going to be revealed in the light. And that's what the good book says. Things that are done in the dark will come to light. And we are beginning to see a lot of that. You're going to want to be on this show tonight. You're going to want to stay tuned. You're going to want to share, and you're going to want to get other people here. So make sure you get on YouTube, hit that share button, send this link out that other people can join us tonight, and we can share together. Tonight is going to be a special night. The last time I was on, you did a lot of talking. You guys did a lot of talking, and we're looking forward to that again tonight as we engage some breaking news and some interesting subjects this evening. Of course, I'm looking forward to having my very special guest, or should I say, well, my very special guest, my host, my producer, Marcia, with me tonight, and also Maxine, as we look into these things that are occurring around us in the moment. And we're looking forward to a great, great show tonight. But as always, before we even get going and before I even begin to welcome you, let's have our national anthem and let's follow it up with our national pledge. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us take our appropriate positions and listen and share our national anthem. Go ahead, Dave. Strict guardians of our heritage, firm craftsmen of our faith. Yes, indeed, we are the guardians of our country and its future legacy. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our national pledge. Together with me, I pledge allegiance to my country, Barbados, and to my flag, to uphold and defend their honor, and by my living to do credit to my nation wherever I go. That's the pledge that we have made, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. Those of you in the loyal opposition, welcome to the Marcia Weekes Show this Wednesday, September the 3rd. And my goodness, time is flying, time is flying. Have you done your Christmas buy-in? I'm almost tempted to just sing the whole song right through because it was just August. And of course, that's my birthday month, okay? Just August. And here we are, rushing into September, and before we know it, October, November, December, we're going to be at the end of 2025. And incidentally, we need to be paying attention to what is being heard out there, so to speak, and we'll touch on some of that tonight concerning a very important shift that will happen in November, and we'll be chatting a bit about that and other things. But I want to welcome all of you tonight to the Marcia Weekes Show, all of our loyal opposition, all of you, those of you who we get the opportunity to call your names, and those of you who we may not get that opportunity, nevertheless, welcome to the show tonight. Of course, we want to, and I'm going to call a few of the names. I know you've been there waiting for some time. Some of you have been waiting since 5 o'clock. Junie Rock is there. Welcome. And Judy Doughton Gills, faithful, welcome this evening. Michael Harewood, Angel Humble, welcome to the show this evening. A joy to have you on with us. Deborah Noel, and of course, Taroni, welcome. Thank you so much for your gracious greeting whenever you're on. Remy M 6070 and Jade Emperor 3. I love some of these names. Hugh Howard, and God's will be done. Welcome to the show this evening. We're climbing 563, and we're expecting to go even higher than that as you share. Marcia Miller, welcome this evening again to the show. Samara Jules, Mildred Ben, one or two people I'm looking for. Matthew Brown, great to have you with us this evening as well. Uh, Patricia Green, welcome. Marcia, there you are. That's one person I'm looking for. Marcia, I got the national anthem played early. All right. So thank you so much for being here again. Laurie Bob and Ryan Rock. My goodness. Beverly Prescott, Sandra Charles, welcome. Houston, I hope I have that right. Houston Fields and Queen D. There you are, Queen D. Welcome to the show this evening. Pauline Maynard. A joy to have you joining us again tonight. Jack Murphy, Sandra Brewster, and where is Flo Joe? Anybody seen Flo Joe? Tony Paris, and of course, you also have my good friend Albert Benjamin. Out of New York, looking for him as well. Good to have all of you. Thank you so much, Marcy. Mystic Angel, there you are. Welcome to the show this evening. There's Sir Alfred Benjamin. I know I would find you, sir. Great to have you out of Brooklyn, New York. Thank you for being here again tonight. It's a real joy to have all of you. Cedric Strawn and Tennyson Drakes, Marva Hunt and Sandra Watkins, Andrea Critchlow, all of you. Welcome to this evening's show. A joy to have all of you. Uh, okay, tell what I missed that one. Super D, tell them free Ninja Man. Okay, Super D, you're going to have a chance to tell them yourself tonight in our call-in segment. All right, but a joy to have all of you with us this evening. We're looking forward to a great show. Now, there are a lot of things happening. Monday, we had the elections in Guyana. And of course, we had a breaking news story this afternoon with regards to our government here in Barbados. Of course, we at the conclusion of Carifesta. We have questions still being asked with regards to the cost and expense of that event. We still need answers. You know, I heard the Prime Minister make reference to cost versus benefits. And I understand that aspect, but regardless of the cost versus benefits, we still need to know the cost. That's the point. We want to know how much did it cost, what was the amount that was spent on the event. And I understand that there it is up on the screen in the budget estimates of 2025, 2026 for Carifesta. $4 million was allocated, and we want to know, was that spent? If it wasn't, how much was spent? How much is left in the kitty? If it went over budget, how much did it go over budget by? These are questions that need answers. The song just went through my mind, and I know Dave probably can't play it because of copyright. issues, but there are more questions than answers. That's the kind of thing we're hearing. And of course, we're dealing with a government that committed itself to transparency and accountability. That was what this, nobody asked them to do that. They campaigned in 2018 and 2022, particularly in 2018, with a campaign on accountability, transparency. They were going to lock up the then government as soon as they came to office because of corruption. And maybe they couldn't do that because we're now dealing with another level of corruption. Of course, that is alleged. I can't say definitely anyone is being corrupt, but I do know that in the corruption index, Barbados is riding quite high when it comes to the matter of corruption. All right. So these are all questions that should be answered and need to be answered. And while I was preparing for tonight, a verse, and of course, you would expect me as a Christian minister to grab my Bible and quote something to you. You would expect that from me. And of course, we don't focus per se on matters of religion and faith on this program. It's not that type of a program. We respect those persons who have, those persons who choose not to, and those persons who have other religious faiths. That's respect. I don't always have to agree with you, but one thing I've learned, particularly from my mother, is that every human being is deserving of respect for one reason and one reason alone. They are human. And so I respect everyone, regardless of their political or religious persuasion or whatever they choose to believe. But this verse came out to me today, and I want to share it with you before I move into the session tonight. And it says this: no one lights a lamp and hides it in a clay jar and puts it under a bed. Instead, they put it on a stand so that those who come in can see the light. For there is nothing hidden. Listen to this carefully. There is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed, and nothing concealed that will not be known or brought out into the open. Listen now. Therefore, consider carefully how you listen. Okay, and that is what this show has always been about. It has been about being very careful to ensure that we present Emma. If I have it correctly, that is what Marcia shared with me, this Emma, where we educate, we motivate, we mobilize, and we agitate. Okay, and importantly so. And I have been watching several of the shows, even those that I've been on. I've been rewatching them, and I can say without a shadow of a doubt that this show goes to exceptional efforts to ensure that we educate and we share the truth. And if at any time something comes up, we are not beyond admitting anything or apologizing or whatever is necessary. All right. So that is really what we are engaging this evening. Now, a couple of very quick things. Of course, first of all, I want to push this march coming up this Saturday. That is Saturday coming. I believe that will be September the 6th. I know Dave has it and he's going to, I think there's a video, Dave, that you have for it, and you could probably run that video for us. And then I know there is that flyer with a number of different subjects that we'll be engaging on that march. That is this coming Saturday, September the 6th, commencing from the Kensington Oval opposite the Costa Mall, and we'll begin that march there. And we want to invite all of you to be present. That's it, Dave. If that's the video, you can go right ahead and play, and I'll just stop what I'm saying and let that video play. We are looking at the matters of repealing the tint law. You can see it there right up on the screen in front of you. The aspect of freedom of religion, reparations for years of persecution, freeing up the matter of the sacraments. Of course, we would know that would be dealing with the Rastafari and marijuana. And I know that there's going to be a program that will inevitably address that. But this is a protest march. This is a peaceful protest. And this is coming Saturday, the 6th. And I believe it will culminate with a parliament, a roadside parliament at Independence Square. But I stand to be corrected on that. But certainly we're looking forward to having a great time. And then very quickly, as you know, the Guyanese election was on Monday, and I have been following it over the last several days. I don't know that there has been any official announcement as yet, but I do know that would he be the vice president? Jagdeo announced the PPPC, I think it is, having won the election, but that is not the official result. And as a matter of fact, the Guyanese Electoral Commission went out of its way after to indicate that no official reporting has been given, and only one entity in Guyana has the legal authority and right to make the announcements, and that is the Guyana Electoral Commission. That's the only entity. So if Mr. Jagdeo announced in the context of what he perceived in terms of the results to be a win for his party, he certainly was out of place, and that does not surprise me in the least. So we are still awaiting the official announcement. I don't believe it has as yet been announced. Up to this evening, I was watching several reports coming out of Guyana, and up to this evening, it was not announced. So we are still awaiting the official results in that Guyanese election. Well, of course, as I mentioned, my producer is joining me this evening, and it's going to be an absolute joy to have her in with me. And I welcome you to your show, Marcia. It's a pleasure to have you joining me this evening. Good
Yes, uh, good evening, Dr. Ferdinand. You know, you and I had, and good evening to the viewers. It's really great to be here. Quite unexpected. I told Dr. Ferdinand since I had done Monday, I said to you, man, you can do Wednesday. And we had a discussion about that, I think up to this morning. And I was telling you,
Yes.
I'm going to take a rest,
Yes.
etc., etc. And while I'm putting together the show, and you know, I'm dragging, and I want to go and lay down, I want to rest, and then out the blue,
Boom.
I look, boom,
One big
boom,
boom, one big explosion.
an
Boom. Breaking news.
explosion, an explosion. And that's why we're asking the question
Uh,
tonight. So I had to come on to ask the question: was Mr. Hope Houses fired, right, or did he resign? And to ask about the 60 million. All right, because we've been asking about that 60 million that was in the HCF fund, and we have not no we don't know what has happened to
Not
it
up to
yet.
now.
$60 million, and the houses are not there. Right?
10,000, Marcy, I think. 10,000 homes, was it supposed
Yes,
to
this
be?
this is a 10,000 homes man here, he and his government, and he's gone, but we don't know about the 60 million. But so, you know, we had to come on, folks. You need to share and to like, because these moments are very important. This is a government, Dr. Ferdinand, who ran on a campaign of transparency,
Yes,
a
yes.
campaign of integrity, a campaign against corruption. This government, and I don't know exactly why. I have a lot of questions to ask tonight. You know, one, was he fired or did he resign? Where's the 60 million from the house, the Hope Project? Where is that? And exactly why was he fired or resign? Did he, you know, resigned? Exactly what is the reason? All right, so lots of questions to ask, lots of questions to ask. Okay, so let's look into, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Dave, I know we'll put that back up very soon. If I'm not mistaken, this is the third minister that has resigned, isn't it?
I believe it is, Marcia. And not only the third minister that's resigned, but of course we had the firing of Senator. Oh goodness, her wonderful
Haynes.
young.
Well, well,
Yes,
well, well,
yes,
well they will say it was on firing, but it was a similar discussion, and then
yes,
you know, she
yes,
turned in her resignation.
yes,
So,
yes, yes.
so it's a
Politically
similar.
correct expressions.
Yes, 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 yes. So, you know, you want to do the honors, Dr. Ferdinand, and read for us this article for those who have not seen the article or know what's happening? What's the
Well,
news?
I will say that Dave will have to make it a little larger now. I know he knows I have glasses, and I believe he might be thinking that I can read that easily. But I'll do my best. All right. So just go back up, Dave. Let's read what's under the caption there. First, Member of Parliament for St. George South, Dwight Sutherland, has resigned from his portfolio as Minister of Housing, Lands, and just go back up. Housing, Lands, back up to the article itself. Right. Thank you so very much. Housing, lands, and maintenance. And incidentally, just to be clear, folk, he has not resigned from Parliament. He has resigned from Cabinet. So we're told. He is no longer a minister. All right. Starcom Network News has confirmed this development with Mr. Sutherland, who said that while he has resigned from his portfolio with immediate effect, wow, he has no plans of leaving electoral politics. Interesting. I would have thought, Marcia, that it would have been more specific. He has
Hmm.
no plans of leaving the government in terms of elections, but I find it rather interesting leaving electoral politics,
Hmm. What are you thinking there? What are you
Uh,
thinking?
I don't know, I wonder if I wonder if he might cross the floor, I don't know.
To
We can
where?
only speculate. Well,
To
there's only
where?
one other place he can cross the floor
Oh
to
Lord,
go,
listen,
you know.
listen. As far as I'm concerned on that matter, as far as I'm concerned, as a citizen of Barbados, if he going to cross that floor, he need to be able to say what happened to the $60,000, the
60
sixty
million,
million,
60
the
million.
$60 million,
Yes,
and
he has
and
to
he would
come.
have to state exactly why. Why did you resign? Are you having
Yes.
health problems? Are you having a sick child at home? Is your mom in the hospital? Do you have a life-threatening disease? Why
Mm,
did you resign, Mr. Sutherland? If I were Thorne, that is what I would be asking. But I do agree with you that it seemed like a little opening is there. He says he has no plans of leaving electoral
electoral
politics.
politics. That's right. That's right.
That
And it would seem to me that if and I know it's not your personal life is not the everybody's business, but when you're in public life in a real sense, Marcia, it is everybody's business. Nobody asked you to be in public life, you chose to be there. And so if you choose to resign, as was indicated, for personal reasons, then it might have really touched the sympathies of the Barbadian citizenry to know what those personal things are. Like you said, it could be an illness with his wife. I have shared with the Barbadian public here on the show and in other areas concerning the sickness of my wife, my wife's illness, and her having to travel and so on. Why? Because I'm in public life, and I don't want people seeing me out and my wife is not with me. Of course, when it comes to pastors and ministers, as soon as they see you out without your wife, questions are raised. I had a question, believe it or not, Marcia,
Hmm.
raised once with my daughter. I was out with my daughter, and somebody called my wife and told her that I was out with some other lady. So it's a case where I think, once you're in public life, I think there's a bit more explanation required. And you never know. It might be something that is in such a aspect that it might have got the sympathy of the people.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, I would love for Dave if he could play, if he has at hand, could play the Prime Minister's response. I believe we've sent a little clip for you. So I'll give you some time. It's in your WhatsApp, some time for you to put that up. But
Marcia, I'm looking at a comment made here on the show that just now on CBC, Mr. Sutherland has pledged his allegiance to BLP and given Chris Gibbs and the government his maximum support on CBC News.
that's wonderful. I think because I don't see where how he could cross and to go with Thorne. Thorne, and I can't see Mr. Thorne. I can't see why he would accept him over there.
Well,
you
he
know,
might he might have gone as an independent, or you never know.
as
He
an
might have gone with
independent,
a
well,
with another
yeah, that's
party.
fine. But I don't see what, because if I was part of his constituency, I would have many questions for Mr. Sutherland.
Yeah, and
But
again, Marcia,
mm,
He represents a constituency. Was he constituency consulted before he made his decision with regards to, of course, he's not resigning from Parliament. He's pledged his allegiance, but he's still accountable to the constituents, even as a
Yeah,
minister.
yeah, even as a minister. So let Dave just go ahead and play for me this clip. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Barbadians. After discussion, I received earlier today a request from the Honorable Dwight Sutherland to be relieved of his ministerial portfolio in housing, lands, and maintenance. I have accepted his request. He will remain as Member of Parliament for St. George South. This has been a request driven by him for personal reasons. I have asked, accordingly, the President of Barbados to appoint the Honorable Christopher Gibbs, Member of Parliament for St. Michael West, as the new Minister of Housing, Lands and Maintenance as of tomorrow's date effectively. I thank you for your attention, and I'd like to thank both the Honorable Dwight Sutherland for his service to the government, while at the same time looking forward to working with the Honorable Christopher Gibbs in this new portfolio. Thank you very much.
Mhm. Let me just say here that, looking at just watching the Prime Minister on the screen here, I want to say to you, Prime Minister, you need to be worried. You need to be worried because I believe that this is the first, well, in this season, because this is the third that has been the third minister that has resigned and one across the floor. It is my belief that there are more in there that you're going to see resigning, because I think this is there is a what I call a cesspool of corruption. And this is not alluding to whether it was corruption why Mr. Sutherland resigned, but I am saying I believe there is a cesspool of corruption that is happening inside this government. And the reason I say that is that you would have heard me on the show many times. I would come on and I would speak in parables, because I can't call people's names on here.
Yes.
And you would hear me talk about young men, young bright Barbadian men who are, whether they're in fashion or they're in the arts, etc., and they have to get a grant, and they might have applied for a grant. And one of the things that these young men are saying to me and to others is that quite a number of our young men, when they are supposed to get a grant, or they believe that they might get a grant, that they're being asked to do, sexual favors for the grant. And we're talking about a government here. And so I want us to remember some of these things that I was saying online. And while I could not say the names of these people, and I'm going to go through a couple of them tonight, and this is why I'm saying to the Prime Minister, you need to be worried. There are young men that are walking and telling people in Barbados that there are people in government that they have to bend over in order for them to get a grant, in order for them to move ahead. There are young ladies that are pregnant, where there are people in government that are supposed to, they're supposed to take care of these people in need. And notice I'm using government to be wide, right? A wide term. And where they go to get help, and young ladies are being molested. There's a young girl right now in a particular constituency pregnant. The family member contacted us about it. There is a lot of it's a cesspool of corruption and nastiness that is happening in this BLP government. I can't call names on here, but I am telling you that is what is happening all up and down this government. And I have used this program to call out to those in the LGBTQ community, those of you who are advocating for LGBTQ rights. And I've asked you on air, some of you have spoken to off air, and I said, so what about the rights of these young men? What about the rights of these young men who are in need? and they go knocking on the door of government, and government officials, it's being alleged, are telling them, well, you've got to do this in order to get this. What about who's advocating for those young men? Huh? I think that some of you might have remembered too that I was on the show and I told you about a young man who was threatened by somebody in government. You remember I told you about that.
Yes.
Threatened by somebody in government, and a little later in the night he was shot. The person in government said he was going to shoot him, and it happened right here in this country. I'm not calling any names. I'm not like Sheriff Veronica, who I want to big up this evening. Yeah, but I can't call names. But let me tell you something that has happened right here in this country. People that we look up to, and that poor young man is not able to this day, not able to get any justice for what has happened to him. That is the kind of Barbados that we are living in. Corruption is a cesspool of corruption. And you know, I saw this thing on Sheriff Veronica. I want to use this time to say to you, Sheriff Veronica, that while obviously that there's no way I can agree with everything that you do, ma'am. It's just very different from what I do. And but I have to say that you make me wonder, Sheriff Veronica, if what you put out yesterday had anything to do with what happened today.
Wow.
Is it true that there was a Sutherland gang? I'm asking a question. Is it true there was a Sutherland gang that was running St. George South scared? A question. Did what Sheriff Veronica put out yesterday, did that have anything to do with the resignation or the firing today? And it says here, Sutherland gang busted. Sutherland. Okay. Is it true that the St. George residents are feeling safe again? I don't know. So I'm just asking some questions. I know some of you will say you don't, Sheriff Veronica, whatever. But what I want to say also here is, if it is connected, because I don't know, if it is connected, we're looking here at the power of social media. Because if that cybercrime bill was in place, Dr. Ferdinand, and if it is connected, because you and I, we don't know that, and we can't assert that. But if there is any connection with what Sheriff Veronica put out yesterday and what happened today, you could see why people in government are going to want to shut down social media.
Yes, absolutely. And you can see as well, Marcia, why they want to pass that interception bill.
Correct. Because then they would be able to look into the people's phones and they would be able to know who sent it to Sheriff Veronica. If it is, and a big if there, if it is connected, right? They would want to look into the people's phone and they will find out who did it. But according to Sheriff Veronica, the people of St. George were willing to give up names. And she said she had names listed. And
That's
she
correct.
called, yes, you saw that. And she called the police. And let me tell you, I was alerted to it, that it was there, because I don't normally watch her. But I was alerted to it by somebody in St. George who said, Marcia, a young man, he said, take a look at this. And if it is connected, this woman needs to take a bow, because we often, a lot of us bloggers and a lot of us, we take a lot of hits. You know, people say that we're liars and we are propaganda, we spread propaganda, etc., etc. But I tell you something, this is one of the reasons they want all of this stop, Dr. Ferdinand, is because the potential of keeping them accountable. There is a potential there. And I tell you this, viewers as well. I tell you this, guys, that the Integrity in Public Life bill that they refuse to proclaim, you see, you don't want to do that because they know that if they do that, a lot of these people, I believe, it's my opinion, that the Integrity in Public Life bill could cause lots of politicians to go to jail. They don't want to proclaim that bill. But I tell you, there's something for you all. It's called social media. And if Sherry Veronica is right, that the people of St. George cannot stand it anymore, and they reach out to her, well, kudos to the people of St. George
Correct.
and to Sherry Veronica,
Yes,
if
yes.
it is connected, which we don't know.
Well, you know, Marcia, this is the thing about social media. As you might recall, and we have talked about it before, I've mentioned it, and we chatted a bit about it as well, how crucial it was in Barack Obama's first successful presidential election in the United States. And he credited social media, the aspect of reaching out through social media. He credited significantly for the success of his presidential run. And you can understand why the government would want to pass a cybercrime bill to be able to take control of this type of information. Many may not remember, Marcia, this has really come about, as you would know, as a result of the pandemic, and where the government sought to shut down all the social media platforms, accusing us of misinformation, false information. And of course, while speaking concerning the pandemic, we have now proven that in truth and in fact, it was the governments that were spreading false information and misinformation, and not the doctors and the different persons, professional individuals who were. So right now you have the situation where, as it relates to governance in this country, where even during Carifesta, Marcia, during that big talk event where a prime minister shared the platform with the prime minister of St. Vincent and Sir Hilary Beckles, and I don't recall the other lady, I think she was from Belize, I stand to be corrected, she made the comment that it is necessary, and speaking of her comment made at a heads of government meeting, for them to take control of the social media platform. She expressed that explicitly. And it should concern all of us when our freedom of expressions and freedom of speech is being threatened.
Yes. And you know, one of the things that we are going to be shouting out loud about it when we go on the street, we didn't have I have it on the poster, but it's an Integrity in Public Life
Yes,
bill.
yes.
Because these here that you see in here, they're getting ready for an election. I'm telling you, they would not, if the Sherry Veronica thing is connected, if we don't know if it is connected to what is happening here, let me tell you, that's a whole can of worms, and they don't want that for the elections that they're planning in a couple of months. But I believe by the end of the year there will be elections, so they don't want it to happen. They do not want that to happen. So they're going to try to mop up and to clean up. But there's what isn't this a third one? It's
Fourth,
a third
I
one.
think it's the fourth.
I know of three of them that you know, they have something going on that's shady being said. You know, it's being allegations of shady stuff, right? So I'm saying,
right.
yeah, I'm saying, folks, and of course everybody is innocent until proven guilty. But there is a shadow. There is that shadowed over this government. There is a shadow of gangsterism. There is a shadow of criminality over the government, and up to the, you know, as high as you could take it, there's a shadow of criminality. When you think that you have promised us all these houses, you took $60 million out of the HCF fund, right? You took 60 million and you cannot account for it. The Public Accounts Committee have not met. Mr. Thorne has been trying to get to the bottom of this. Mr. Thorne, I believe sometimes he probably would have burst a vein inside of Parliament. God forbid that would happen. And Mr. Thorne has been pushing away, asking what has happened to this $60 million. So you mean to tell me the Minister of Housing, right, who was directly responsible for the $60 million, he's going to resign, and we don't know nothing that happened about it. But he could have the gall to say that he will remain in electoral
electoral politics, yes.
And will remain in electoral politics. I'm saying here, but he has not yet told us what has happened to the $60 million taxpayer money. What has happened to that? Blight Sutherland. I'm calling you Blight Sutherland tonight. Go ahead, Dr. Ferdinand.
No, I just wanted to mention, not only the integrity bill, but you would recall that they gave a commitment to share with the country the assets of every single parliamentarian going into office. And to this day, we have never seen that come before the people of Barbados. As far as I'm aware, it is still being held, I believe, by the Speaker of the House, awaiting the proclamation of this integrity legislation for the people of Barbados to know. So persons could potentially leave office, and we don't know what has happened during their period. If they went in, like some persons in the US, for the salary you're working for, how could you become a multi-millionaire on the salary that you're working for? I mean, I've had my own personal experiences within the context of this that I have shared on a couple of occasions. But I do know that when you're dealing with matters of funding for the government, I was told blatantly by an attorney at law. He asked me the question, what did you promise the minister? And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, you would have to give something to the minister in order to have that kind of funding approved. So I have had firsthand experiences of that.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for that, Dr. Ferdinand. Dave, you have something there on the screen for us. I thought you had Mr. Thorne. Okay, you're going to do this one first? Go right ahead. Okay, Kim Tay saying if the foundation crack, you got to push down the house because there is a shroud. There is a cloud. They could call all the election they want. They could call, they're getting ready to call an election, Barbados. And I cannot believe the gall of this man, Blight Sutherland. I cannot believe his gall to say that he's still in electoral politics, and we don't know what has happened to the 60 million. You have not told us why you have resigned. You are so important that you could get up and you could resign. You could just resign, and we don't know why you resign, but telling us that you're still available for people to vote for you. Are you mad? That is some madness. I believe the people of St. George, is it South? Is he
yes,
St. George South? St.
Yes.
George South, you need to ask this man here on the screen. Because you need to ask Blight Sutherland. You need to find out from Blight Sutherland exactly. So Blight, tell us why did you resign? We want to know. Do not put him back anywhere to serve any place until you know why he resigned.
Correct.
But you know what? Correct. Some of you will be quick to put him back there. So you BLP people, but you don't. You would say Donville, who went and did his time. You would not have anything to do with him, right?
Yeah, and they will, and not, they will raise a question to do with him, not to give a person a chance to get back themselves and to get that opportunity to make themselves useful again, in spite of what they've gone through. But I wanted to say this as well, Marcia. I watched the video with the Prime Minister. And I've been doing some research in terms of body language because I just find this aspect very intriguing. And I was watching how how much her eyes shifted. She did not look in the camera with that confidence and a surety that we are used to seeing her when she's speaking, confidently indicating, I have received the resignation as I'm looking into the camera right now. She wasn't like this. She was looking away, in my view, she kind of stumbled through this particular announcement, and that suggested to me that there is more in the mortar than the pestle. And then, Marcia, in addition to that, you talk about the resignations, but when you put that together with the number of bills that have had to be recalled and redone and reset and edited and amended, this government should be very, very, very worried.
Very worried. Very worried indeed. Dave, can you play the what you have before us?
Recently resigned Housing Minister Dwight Sutherland was out and about in his constituency this afternoon. He says while the announcement of his resignation as Minister of Housing, Lands and Maintenance may be sad for some people, he will now have more time to focus on his constituency and to spend with his family. He says he will be doing all of this while remaining a member of the Barbados Labour Party, on which ticket he became the St. George South MP.
And I want to thank my son for coming this afternoon with me, and the members of my branch, my first constituency assistant, and my present one, and my public relations officer and PA. Certainly, this afternoon is a constituency afternoon, and people are coming in and leaving. I pledge, lots of people have passed through, pledging their support, but I told them I am still a member of the Barbados Labour Party, and I pledge my support and continued dedication to the people of St. George South and indeed Barbados, not just St. George South, but Barbados.
Mr. Sutherland is asking those who may be disappointed in his resignation to hold firm.
I've done a lot of work, but like I said, it's for personal reasons that I have resigned. And I know the person that is coming after me is my very good friend, um, Chris Gibbs, and I will give him maximum support. And I know that with the government policies, whether it's myself or Chris Gibbs, we can indeed impact all the constituents of this country in providing affordable housing, resilient housing, and housing indeed that can allow Barbadians to indeed own a piece of this rock. And that's our mantra.
Constituents also have their say on the resignation.
Dave, we could stop. We could stop here a little bit. You
Yeah.
know what I want to say here, viewers. What I want to say here is this. I want it to be very. We send a loud and clear message to the Prime Minister of this country, Prime Minister Mia Motley. We are sending you us here on the Marcia Weekes Show, the Barbados, the loyal opposition. We are sending you a clear message that this man, this minister resigning, has nothing to do with that 60,000. We will stop asking about that 60,000. We will not stop asking about the 60 million. I keep saying 60,000. We will not stop asking about the $60 million. You better understand. The Prime Minister Mia Motley understand that we will not relent in asking for the people's money, the $60 million. Whether you want to use this situation and use him as a scapegoat or whatever you want to do, understand, as long as we have breath in our bodies, go ahead and call the election. But you still will have to give an account of the $60 million that was used up. And they're gone, but hardly any houses.
No accountability.
You were saying something, Mr.
No, I find it very interesting. Marcia, I've been in marketing for a number of years now, in sales and marketing, and I learned to listen to people. Being a pastor and a minister of religion and a counselor, I've learned to listen carefully to people when they're speaking. And I noticed something. Dwight pledged his allegiance to St. George South. Dwight pledged his allegiance to the people of Barbados. Dwight pledged his allegiance to the Barbados Labour Party, but he never pledged his allegiance to the Prime Minister. And I find that telling, because if you are in good standing with the Prime Minister, any Prime Minister, whether it be Arthur, Adams, Barrow, whoever, and you resign from a cabinet, then the first pledge that you should make should be the pledge to the leader of the party or the leader of the country, unless there's a problem. And he never mentioned the Prime Minister once. He mentioned the people, he mentioned the country, he mentioned the Labour Party, but he never mentioned the Prime Minister. And I want to leave that out there for people to draw their own conclusions.
Yeah, good observation. And especially after she said, after discussion, I received, after discussion, this is what the Prime Minister says, I received earlier today a request. And it's always like that discussion. What was the discussion about? What was it? Was it about what Sheriff Veronica says is happening there, right? With that alleged gang there in St. George South? Are the people being terrorized for true? Is that really true? Yeah. That was her opening sentence. After discussion, I received earlier today a request. Huh? Somebody said she was a shadow of her boisterous self of 2018, where they were going to put people in jail, and they were going to, pass an integrity in public life legislation, and they were going to come up against corruption, and they were going to do this, and they were going to do that. Where is all of that now? Let's hear from Mr. Thorne. Dave? We can't, the volume is down.
There's no redemption to come here. It is no redemption to come here and say that they've repaid $4 million. It is no redemption to come here and say that they're not part of the allocation. We understand what this government is doing. We understand that this government is attempting to atone for the sin that has been Hope. And they're allowing Hope to extricate themselves from the housing mandate in this country. Not enough of those houses are available to poor people in this country.
You see, that's inevitably the accountability that is required of the people of Barbados. He resigns as Minister of Housing, and we have no explanation, no accountability with regards to that particular project. Now, this is something that is being raised continuously. We've raised it on this show over and over and over. And Mr. Thorne has raised it in the House. Mr. Thorne attempted to have a public accounts committee. And incidentally, Marcia, you might recall, I believe it was the Auditor General that also drew attention to this whole matter of the Hope Project and monies where the government is concerned unaccounted for, as should have been done. And Mr. Thorne attempted to raise the matter with the Public Accounts Committee and have a meeting with the Public Accounts Committee to look into it. The Prime Minister herself, if I recall, indicated that she would engage an investigation into it, which we've heard nothing about since then. Now, was it attempted on this occasion, and as a result of the falling out between herself and Mr. Sutherland, he's resigned? I don't know. I'm asking questions just like yourself, Marcia.
Yeah. And I think this is what Dave has. And while Dave sets this up, I was talking about discussion, right?
Yes.
She said that she had a discussion, and after discussion, I received earlier today a request. And the big question is, who did you have the discussion with, Prime Minister? Madam Prime Minister, exactly who did you have the discussion with? Right? And about what? What did you discuss? With, and so this is how they come with these things, and they know to skip, and leave out pieces. So you had a discussion. Who did you have the discussion with? With whom? And about what? And that's a piece that the constituents in St. George South should be asking.
Yes.
You should be asking. This man should not, in his arrogance, is going to come and say, I will continue in electoral, politics. Arrogance. But Dave, go ahead and play, please. We're not hearing it. Are you hearing, Dr. Ferdinand?
No, I'm not.
Still,
Yes, no way.
and has it had teething problems? Yes, it has. And have we found out things that I don't like? Yes, we have. And have we taken action with respect to some of them? Yes, we have. But I'm not going to prejudice it this evening because I've asked for a full investigation into every aspect of it. And it was intended always to be a revolving fund, started at 10 million. And it was intended to be a revolving fund, sir. It still is. And therefore, the monies that have been put into Hope, and in some instances, national housing, will be repaid because it is not a grant. It is not the grant like the Water Authority got from the Green Climate Fund or the Blue-Green Bank got from the Green Climate Fund. It is a loan. But because of the hiccups that we have had in the execution and in the procurement, because Hope also started during the back end of the pandemic.
Now, so here's the thing, Miss Prime Minister, and that's why you should resign. Prime Minister Mia Mottley, I am saying to you tonight, the Barbadian people should request, after discussion, right? Request, right, for your resignation. Why? You promised us, this is about, what is this? It's about 2 years now, that there would be an investigation in Hope. Can you provide us the results of the investigation? Could you provide us? We want to know about our $60 million. Can you provide us the results? What is the report? We want to understand the report of the investigation. I know that's what you said. You would have had an investigation. What is the report?
And the thing about it, Marcia, is that the BLP set the bench. They set the bar for integrity and transparency and accountability. They looked at the previous administration and said, we are never going to be like them. We're going to set that bar right up there. We're going to give an account. We're going to be transparent. Why have we not seen that, particularly with regards to this specific ministry and this specific minister and this specific project? Why have we not seen that? That's the bar she set.
Yeah. We saw there was a minister, a particular minister who, I don't know how it got the $7,500 got on our desk, but somehow I don't know how it happened. It's a miracle, and that went, and we didn't hear anything about it. Nothing more about it. That $7,500 check, it just flew. It just flew in. Okay? Nobody knows what happened to it. You have people in government, as I said, little boys are complaining for them. Men molesting in government. I said. Men and little boys complaining, little girls. I spoke to somebody today, a constituent, pregnant. And all the little girl wanted was a little help. I say these things on here, and you all, because I can't call names like Sheriff Veronica, you think I'm making them up. I'm not making them up. I sit here and I get calls. And so I'm saying this. I see Miss McLean is there. So I want to just say, I just want to say this. There is a shroud. There is a cloud.
Yes, that's correct.
There is a dark cloud hanging over this administration, a cloud of criminality, a cloud of corruption. Is a nasty, dirty cloud of corruption is hanging over criminality, gangsterism. There's even allegation of drug trafficking hanging over this government. And you're going to tell me you still are going to call an election, and because you believe Barbadians are not going to ask you any questions? You think we're going to forget about our $60 million? But Miss McLean is here.
Yeah, I see her. I see her in the green room there. Let's bring her in because normally, Maxine, it's 2 against 1 flip. But
It's
tonight is
you and
it,
Brian. Good evening.
I
You
am
hear
the
me?
one. Yes, we are. Welcome, Maxine. It's so good to
Well,
see you.
thank you
Great to
very
have you
much.
to the show.
I guess this is the only time you will really get to laugh, eh?
I tell you.
Because we're dealing with some serious stuff.
matters.
And
Serious matters.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
I was listening from the beginning, and let me say this. Marcia and I had discussed my talking about implementation. And you know, this is a classic example of the failure of government to properly implement and deliver on its promises. When we look at this whole housing fiasco, and there's so much, but let me respond quickly to a couple of those things. And I listened to the Prime Minister. I listened to the clip you showed with former Minister Mr. Dwight Sutherland. He can't tell us why he resigned, because he did not resign. He was fired.
Yes, yes.
You
Yeah, he
know,
was fired.
I listened. He was fired. I deduced that from his comment, his tone,
Correct.
and the Prime Minister's. Now think about it. Apart from her opening comment, and I think y'all refer to that after discussions or whatever, discussions that I'm going to fire you, I'm going to replace you. Now, if for personal reasons, and I bring to the table my experience in management, my involvement with companies of significant size, different sectors. John Brown or Mary Smith is going to be asked to resign, but you want to save some face.
Yes.
And you
yes.
say to them, you're going to be fired, so I'm going to ask you to resign. I'm going to give you the opportunity to resign. Now, if you genuinely are resigning for personal reasons, whether it's health, family situation, you know, we know that Mr. Sutherland's wife is wife. I don't know that there's anything else that I never heard that they got divorced. So his wife is our ambassador in Ghana. She has been living in West Africa for probably more than a year now. You know, so if he had taken the decision to say, look, Prime Minister and cabinet and parliamentary colleagues and constituents, I want to join my wife, then you would hear something like that. And you would hear, not only, or even if they didn't give you the reason, you would hear the Prime Minister singing his praises.
Yes, yes.
She would be singing his praises to say, look, you know, I'm sorry that he has to go. How can I? He's given of his time to the country and the constituents, but there comes a time when you have to put personal needs and circumstances first. You had none of that. You had a comment, and as you said, the Prime Minister was very subdued. And as you said, Ferdinand, I have done in my training in management over the years the whole issue of body language. One of the things that managers, especially people, when I did training in international business, international management, and they teach you these things about body language. And the Prime Minister gives herself away all the time. Her eyes shift.
Yes, yes.
Her eyes shift. And if you hear people comment on these things. So I listen to that, and I say to Mr. Sutherland, sir, you are the scapegoat. And I'll say why. We have gone through in this program the multiple failures. And just one ministry, housing. What? The Lancaster project, where they were supposed to have all of these the photovoltaic arrangement and the pricing, and we exposed the comments of the then chairman, who we know was very closely connected to another very high official in this government, you know, showing how they were able to benefit. And we can go back, because I went through my notes, Marcia, tonight. You want to see Marcia Weekes Show, look. All of these.
Wow.
All of this is
Mine,
Marcia
mine,
Show.
mine
You
is about.
understand?
Mine is about.
Wow.
And there's another one that I didn't even pick up
Oh
because I
Lord.
keep my notes. We prepare, we do our analysis. So back to the explanation. Sorry. So clearly that is the case. Now, Pastor Ferdinand raised the issue, and so did you, Marcia, and about the promise of the Prime Minister to do an investigation into Hope. And I asked the question, are you trying to clear the deck as you prepare for an election? And in trying to clear the deck, are you throwing he ain't the guy on the burn that he get pelt in the water in some rough waters? Because I have a suspicion, and I asked the question, are you preparing to come with some kind of so-called response to our result to say, well, I am keeping my commitment about an investigation, when in fact the Public Accounts Committee has not been able to investigate in a way that would help us to get a thorough investigation. So at the end of the day, it's the 60 million. It is, as I said, is Lancaster. I would have sent, if we have time, I sent a couple clips to Dave in case he could get them. But you would hear the minister promising about the steel houses and so on. That's another fiasco. I saw something recently, and I didn't get a chance to investigate it, but I certainly will look, because there was some other new project recently that that Mr. Sutherland spoke about. I actually put together what I call his famous last words, some of his famous last words. And I'm okay. This is 1 August 22nd. Barbados Government Information Service Minister of Housing, Lands and Maintenance, Dwight Sutherland, has praised the Cooperative Investment Fund for its bold and decisive role in financing housing projects that expand home ownership opportunities for Barbadians. My question is, and it goes on to say, speaking at the official opening of the Southview Housing Development, Mr. Sutherland described ownership as the essence of every Barbadian and commended the cooperative sector. Now, I certainly, as a member of that sector, would be very happy to see them involved, but I want to know what is government's involvement in this, and what is its present situation? Let me back up. What was conceptualized? What is its present situation, and where it is, and so on. And of course, as I say, what is government's role? Because we heard a lot about housing, but we have seen very little of substance delivered. And I think it is nice to pelt this gentleman under the bus, back to this one who restructured amid scrutiny. Mr. Sutherland was there telling the government has slashed nearly $1 million from the operating costs.
Yes, I remember.
And all of that. But I would say step back a little bit, because beyond Mr. Sutherland, I'm not excusing him because he is very much the minister. But I asked the question, where did the fiasco of Hope start? What role did the Prime Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister, who at one time, if I remember correctly, was Minister responsible for housing? If I remember correctly, there were other housing ministers. What role did they all play? When did this project start? Who was the minister? What did cabinet members have to say? Because remember, we were talking about these expatriates, either from South Africa, the UK, or something, receiving probably something like $30,000 a month as part of this project.
Yes.
So my question is, what was Dwight Sutherland's role there? But he was a cabinet minister, so he had a chance to open his mouth and comment. But beyond him, who else should be taking the rap for this? So I look at this and I smile, because somebody tried to wash their hands and say, well, look, I clean a house. And we gonna pelt him under the bus. And he may be deserving of being thrown under the bus, tell the truth. Yeah. Because I have very serious concerns when people sit down and carry on and on about these things. Now, this is an interesting document that I saw this evening when I was doing research. And here was the minister in his red shirt at his party conference, taking a very strong position on what whether there should be a lawsuit, rehope, and so on, and defending these things. So my position on this, Marcia, is that as I look at his performance as a minister, to put it nicely, it has been far from stellar. It has been nebulous in terms of achievements. And there hasn't been a lot of talk to, because he don't talk much, because he's not the most articulate or minister in the bunch. But I really think that this is part of a ploy on the part of the head, the prime minister, to say to Barbadians, look at me, I appear to be doing something to clean up the mess. But the mess in housing is massive. Yeah. It is massive. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of money that has been expended. I mean, where are we with those steel houses? Where are we, as I said, with Lancaster? And all some of the other things that they mentioned. There was a project somewhere in Christchurch, because they entered into to certain PPP, public-private partnerships, and we are not hearing full accountability for these things. So this really and truly, to me, as you said, Marcia, this is in tying it with what I was thinking about talking tonight, is a clear case of an ongoing inability to efficiently and effectively implement all of these projects. But in doing so, the cost to the taxpayer has been substantial. There has been a lack of accountability, but she can't lock him up, Ryan Rock. But she has plans to lock in the last administration. But I will say this. Anybody who takes a dispassionate look at the projects and programs of the previous administration, you will see that you did not have this kind of gross abuse of the taxpayers' pockets. And I challenge anybody, because I can bring the facts. I don't talk from an empty position. I talk from facts, and if you go and look at it, you will see that is the case. Whether it is a case of failing to deliver, and while we're talking about Mr. Sutherland, I listened today, and I called in. I was listening to Brass Tacks, so everybody would know who today's host was. Trying to argue or arguing with one of my DLP colleagues, where the person was talking about implementation and projects and whatever. And the suggestion, well, you had mistakes. And governments have made mistakes coming forward. But the thing is, if you do not learn from your mistakes, and if you came into office as this government did, promising to do better,
yes,
being in a position monetarily to do better, and you are doing worse. And I challenge anybody. It is interesting because I call it a different, they're judging using different standards. I listened to another moderator on that same program, and this is what she had to say in relation to Carrie Fester. It is money well spent. So in other words, these are the things, it was money well spent. Now, I cannot say that until I know how much money was spent, what was intended to be spent.
What was it spent on?
Having spent it, what you spent it on in terms of short-term benefits, medium and long-term. Because if you go back to, and this is where when we get a lot of talk, and as I talk about housing and I look at the situation with Mr. Sutherland, and I will tell you the same thing probably, as I say, we don't know, but as I tell you, and I say it again, I will come back to the position about what happened to him. And I say, before I move on to finish the point I started, Mr. Sutherland cannot tell us why he resigned, because as far as I'm concerned, he was pushed. He did not step off. I wouldn't even say a jump. He did not step off. Well, the personal reasons is that I was told you gotta resign. That is how I, based on listening to the Prime Minister, based on listening to him, and based on all that I have seen within the context of his ministry, the issues that the public have asked, those are the things. Having said that, I just want to go back to this notion of people saying that I'm comfortable so long as I had a good time and they spent this money is okay. We don't know how much was spent. And in terms of this, this is similar, Carifesta is similar to this housing issue. I think, Marcia, that we will have to sit down and really try to tally all the monies that we've heard. How much money has been borrowed for what, from which fund, from which international multilateral agency, and whatever the case may be. How much money has been spent, where it has gone, how many houses have been delivered, was the quality of the houses delivered, how many problems they have had. So, at the end of the day, the quote-unquote resignation, and I will stop at this, the quote-unquote resignation of Mr. Sutherland is really a reflection of a lot of what you said is going on. Failure of government to do things properly, and not only to do things properly in terms of implementation, but also the reflection of an environment. I think you categorized it as the sordid things that you mentioned. And I'm trying to remember the words you use in terms of corruption, apparent corruption and so on. I saw the same thing that you mentioned going around with a voice note. I mean, a voice, I don't know the young person, but the kind of assertions that a young man can make with what he probably feels with a level of confidence is frightening.
It is.
Because I will say this, no adult in his or her quote unquote right mind, in my case, I would not assume responsibility, let me put it this way, for somebody who is not mentally deficient or so as an adult. But I certainly would not allow anybody who says that they're related to me to impugn me without me taking action about it.
Yeah,
Correct.
exactly. So
Correct.
that's a very good point there, Miss McLean.
Yes.
And if I would just say something, and you could always jump back in. Because they've brought this up, put this up on the screen, and this is from Naked Departure. So we give credit, and that's what fair use is all about. Just to educate the masses. Now. If you read it, it says if Wanna and the F word around me, big man, he talks about free murder. Now, a young man from St. George called and he explained a lot of this here for me. And so the free murder is that, listen, I could kill somebody and get away with it. My uncle is Dwight Sutherland. This is what the Naked Departure. It's alleged and it's going all around. We don't know who the young man is, Miss McLean. But this is what, and I think you are so correct that if something like this is being said about me, Mrs. Sutherland should really take legal action. On this matter. It says, brother. I is a Sutherland brother, not a bino, right?
No,
okay. Don't laugh at me. Not Devonish. No, so. All right?
Sorry, I should laugh. Go ahead.
You're laughing at me.
Well, at least we can understand it. I was listening to Jamaica the other day, but I couldn't understand a word they were saying.
Yeah, like not privilege, not so. Brother, God status to my name. At least I understand what I'm reading. I didn't understand the name part at first, to be honest. Thank you, Miss McLean.
Name is nothing.
I know
Name.
that. I know. Yes, I understand it now. Once you said it, I didn't read it properly. And I don't get stick up in jail neither. I don't get stick up in jail. You understand this kind of thing here? And so can you imagine, Miss McLean, that young man I told you, and you know I've been talking to you about that young man almost 2 years now. I was on the show and the young man called me. And when I got off the show, he didn't want to speak to me anymore. Because he said somebody in government threatened him. And those who just joined me, hear it again. It is so serious, I have to repeat it. He said somebody in government threatened me. He told me, Miss McLean. And he said, I can't talk about it. I fear my life. Eventually, I kept with him. I prayed with him and so on. And a couple months later, he told me the whole story. He was threatened. And that same night, somebody came back. We can't say names on here. And he was shot. Okay? And there's so much more about it. The point is that young man knows who shot him. Everybody that is supposed to know, read between the lines, know who shot him, and nothing has come of it. I said to him today, I am so glad you're alive. Look how they could have killed you.
Yeah.
And he's a wonderful young man. And they didn't just do that, Barbados. I want Barbados to understand. You know, I'm not like Sheriff Veronica. I can't come and do this kind of thing, right? But I believe me when I'm telling you, this is not a made-up story. It exists. It happened. And when after that happened and he got out of the hospital, Dr. Ferdinand, when he got out of the hospital trying to get a job, those government officials blocked him from getting a job. So he was twice victimized. Absolutely no justice. He did not get any justice for what happened to him. This person is going away scot-free. Nothing done to them. What about the young men who are saying that they have to bend over under this government in order to get grants? They're being asked to do threesomes with other men. I don't like to talk about these things, Miss McLean, but it's what they're telling me up to a couple of days ago. They told me.
Marcia, let me say that I have had, and I will preface the example by saying whether it is heterosexual or homosexual, sexual exploitation is wrong. And I have had graphic details shared with me by a couple people who trust me. And you see this whole, I have talked, I talk to you sometimes because these are things that you need to understand. And somebody mentioned suicidal.
Yes.
That is not a myth.
It isn't.
I have had to go through.
When you said, I was
I
saying
have had to go through.
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Walking a young man in recent times. I've done it previously some years ago with a woman. She was probably in the same. No, she would have been older than that. But a young man who has had to live through this nonsense. And as a child, and as a young man now, having to deal with some of these or being asked to look, I because this is a small place.
I know. I understand.
I wouldn't share a lot more. But I will say this. I will say this.
You and I talk, Miss
We talk about these things, but I will say this. It takes me back to my childhood days where I saw young people in the care of the country, in government's care, being molested and exploited by pedophiles. I have seen those people grow up, some of them older than me, and damaged by it till this day. And so when we hear of these things, when you are supposed to go to officials, whether they're, in whatever capacity, whether they're within the NGO community or wherever, in government offices or wherever, and you are at your most vulnerable, as you said, a young lady who goes for help, or a young man who approaches an official for help for family because they can't do any better. People make sport and talk about what for work or whatever they want to describe the kind of demands that are made. But that is soul destroying. And it is for us who see that to understand. And Marcia, I take my hat off to you, because for somebody to come and share that with you, they will tell you, I really trust you to share this information with you. At the same time, they hope that you can do something about it.
And I couldn't, because of who it was.
And this is the reality. So when we sit down and we say this, and people want to dismiss it as, the alarmist or sensational, no, it is not. Because at the end of the day, on a repeated basis, because you have taken the time to try to help, you live this with the person or persons.
Marcia,
and people go about them. Sorry, go ahead, Pastor Ferdinand.
No, sorry. I'm listening to you guys, and I want to say this. I've been in ministry for close 40-something years. Nobody, and I've made this statement, that some of the most dangerous people in Barbados are ministers. I'm talking about religious ministers. Because many times people come and offload on us. And Maxine and Marcia, you all would know that women offload 10 times more than men do. When a woman comes to talk to you, she does not hold back anything, because she technically wants to get rid of stuff out of her system. And I remember an experience I had with a former prime minister. I had engaged a matter on radio, on my program. When I came home, my wife told me the person had called for me. And when I did reach, or the person did reach me, they started to be critical of ministers, who in terms of their integrity, moral integrity, have compromised. And I said to him, you don't want to go down that road with me, sir, because I would know all that's happening with your ministers and your members of parliament, with all the women in their constituencies, because we have had so many of them come to our ministry. I have often passed the counseling processes over to women in our ministry. My wife has dealt with some of them, because I don't engage it because of all the talk that we've heard. But we have had situations where what you all are saying is fact. And I want people to understand this. This is fact. This is not conspiracy. This is not misinformation or false information. And it affects people. I think I heard you say something just now, Maxine, about someone who was older than you, that it had impacted their lives, even up to this stage. Because unless, in our area, we deal with a matter, and Marcy, you would know very much so, we deal with a matter called deliverance. And unless a person has gone through serious psychological assistance, however you want to term that, there's a reality that it will torment you for the rest of your life. And these have been the realities up until now. So please, when you all hear Maxine and Marcia speaking like this, don't take it as a joke. Don't take it as misinformation. This happens. And because persons like myself, there are several other ministers that we have made a commitment to confidentiality, we can't open up our mouth, because then it reflects on the very same persons who have had to suffer in terms of what has happened with them.
Yeah. And the reason, Dr. Ferdinand, we're speaking like this is we're saying what is being said, reported according to Sheriff Veronica, if it is true, then it is a serious situation, because you're talking about corruption at a very, very high level. If someone believes that if I commit murder, in Barbados because I'm related to an MP that I can get away with it. In fact, they're boasted that they went and they spent a little time in jail already.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
for it. So that is some serious levels of corruption that we're dealing with.
But
And
Marcy,
my
I
question-
I
yes,
want to say this though. I want to stop you mid-sentence. And this is why I made the point about the individual who is being identified as the connection needs to state clearly, because I can go and say anything.
correct.
If you understand.
Yes,
So
yes.
I just wanted that make that very
Yeah,
clear
but
to our
that's why I
listeners.
kept saying if. That's why
Yeah,
I
but
said
no,
keep
no,
saying
but
if.
let me make the point. The person is, I'm talking now about the information that is going around, that this person is saying, that they have this connection. I'm just saying that anybody can say anything, even though it may not be the case.
Correct.
And it therefore is even more critical that there's a disassociation. And I just want to make sure that is clear.
That point is point is clear, because we don't know. And so as the whole night I've just been saying if, okay, and I'm saying that I want Barbadians to really examine what is being said, all right, and just some of this what I just told you. Where up yesterday I'm talking to the young man, today I'm speaking to the young man. I'm saying to you folks that there is something that is very wrong with this government. There's some of you who are praying and you know what I'm talking about. I know right now people are fasting and praying for this country, and you know what it is that I am speaking of. I'm saying to us, something is drastically wrong. Elections are about to happen, and it's the level of arrogance that they believe that they're going to be able to just, put this under the rug, and we're going to forget about it. Barbadians, we need to make up our minds that this is something that we are not. There are too many questions. There are too many unanswered questions. The cloud is too big. It started off small. It's getting bigger. I'm looking here that there were 3 allegations of rape assigned to people in government, in high positions in government at some level or not. Go back and look at it. Go back and look at it. There are 3 cases. Here it is, another allegation is being made, and as we rightly say, that Mr. Sutherland needs to come and need to get to work it out and contest it, do some kind of legal proceedings. Then, if this is incorrect. But look at what is going on. And I want that point to sink home, because a lot of us, we like the gossip of it. And we like to, oh, Lord, did you hear? Did you hear? Now, what are you going to do about what you've heard? What are you going to do about a government that promised you transparency, a government that promised you that they're going to they're going to go walk the high road when it comes on to corruption? And look at what is being alleged now. Look at what is happening in this government. Look how they're trying to sweep things under the rug, getting ready to call an election in 3 months because they think we're stupid. And we're going to, you know what, though? Next month, this is September coming up, viewers. What's going to happen is that we are going to go right ahead into another week gathering. So we just finished Carifesta, and we were on a high, and we enjoyed it. After that, before that was Carifesta. We're talking about we gathering, and they're going to put us in a drunken stupor again, and we forget about all that. St. George South, you're going to forget about it. You're going to forget about sitting down with your MP and asking your MP exactly what happened, my brother. Before this relationship can continue, we need to know what happened. Are we going to do that? Or are we just going to be passing around things, passing around? It requires of us an action. And I really want to sink that home, because a lot of us, we're caught up in the gossip of it, but not about the serious implications of this. And I think that this is very, very, very important. Well, Dr. Ferdinand, it's time for people to call. People to call in. I don't know if Ms. McLean has anything else to add, but I think it's time. We want to hear. People were calling while the thing was going on. And again, guys, remember, whatever you're saying, these are allegations. When you call in, we do not have and we can't call people's names of being involved in anything. You want to talk to me about something in particular, you can call me offline, but don't call and you're mentioning people's names on here, okay? All right, remember that. We can't do that. So I wanted to know, Miss McLean, I see something was sent to me here about Mr. Thorne's something he said. Is that something for public consumption about the matter? You're muted. You're muted, Miss McLean.
Yeah, sorry. That was his statement. So that can be, if I don't know if Dave has the voice, because it came over VOB this evening.
It came over VOB. So while Dave finds it, I'll just read a little portion of it. I think it's important, and why we need to read this. And I want this to be a night that we understand and give Jack his jacket. You know, Mr. Thorne fought for this in Parliament. This show through Kemar Stewart and Caswell Franklin, Maxine McLean, and myself. And we fought on this topic about the hope and all of that before Mr. Thorne went in. All right. However, inside of Parliament, come on, let us acknowledge the work that Mr. Thorne has done inside of Parliament. Read the Hope Project. But listen, this is what Mr. Thorne, some of what he said. During my budget reply in 2024, I characterized Mr. Sutherland's various pronouncements on housing as being the voice of Jacob, while there was a different hidden hand of Esau at work. I speculated even then that he would be sacrificed for the scandalous Hope Project, for which the entire cabinet ought to have taken collective responsibility. You remember he was talking about the hand of Esau, right? The voice of Jacob and the hand of Esau. But we do have a caller on the line, so let me go to the caller. Yes. Good night, caller. The call dropped. Let me try to get back to them. Guys, the lines are open. The line is open. Okay, the person is calling back. Yes. Good night. As you know, I'm going to welcome to the Marcia Weekes Show. Kindly asking you to turn down your device. Go right ahead, please.
Good night, Marcia.
Good night.
What I called to hear that they were talking about the DLP, they're going to get the act together. The DLP get their act together. Understand? And them now got to see what happened to their team now, called a crumbling. And I'm glad the crumbling called it a malicious, and I'm looking into the DLP. Take a look at the self now. The crumbling. God don't sleep. He don't like ugly. Have a pleasant night, Marcia. This is Judy Dawkins Jill.
Yes, and Judy, you coming to the march?
Sure. I can't wait.
Yes, well, the march. Yeah, the march, and these are the things that we need to make noise about. Listen, guys, you can't let this go to rest, you know. St. George South. It can't go to rest.
Talking about the DLP, right? That are talking about the DLP going to get the act together. We get the act together, please. What you all have to do is get one act together, BLP. That is what we're going to do. When I spit it up in the air and let drop back here in the face.
Yes, ma'am.
Have a pleasant night. See you on Saturday, Marcia and Maxine and Mr. Ferdinand.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Sure,
much.
thank you.
Thank you.
And then they come back in my face at all.
No, only you that spit it in the air. It's them spitting up in the air and let drop back in the face.
Yes. Well, you know, somebody's saying here too, this is why I said another reason. I hope Dave can find the actual recording from Mr. Thorne. I think it would be better for us to read his recording. But I'm seeing here in my WhatsApp here, Dr. Ferdinand, while we wait, if Abraham, you had called. If you could call back. It says that enough drug lords were in the VIP zone at Carrie Festa closing ceremony. One has to wonder who vetted the invitation list. You can't be treating criminals and gangsters like VIPs and expect a good outcome. Maybe it does provide a safety barrier for the ones extending the invitations, and to hell with the rest of the law-abiding citizens. So this is what I'm reading here on my phone. I don't know. Government, I know you always watch. Did you have criminals? Did you have drug lords in the VIP zone at Carrie Festa at the closing ceremony?
Well,
Because
that wouldn't.
Mhm.
Sorry, that wouldn't surprise me, Marcia, when one considers that at the opening of the
Exactly.
Parliament, which you would recall Caswell spoke about, where his wife, I think, was not invited, but they had several other drug lords and guys leading gangs and whatnot invited into the opening of Parliament. So it
Yeah.
wouldn't surprise me in the least.
Yes, 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 yes. You are so, and you're right. Elections are around the corner now. I see that they're paying the teachers, whatever they owe them, and they're going to quickly
They're
pay
going to
because
find money now.
elections are around the
They're
corner,
going to
and
fund money.
we are to
Sorry.
forget about this. We are to forget about this. That's the other thing that thing. But go ahead, Dr. Ferdinand.
No, I was just saying that they have the money now. They couldn't find the money before, but they have the money now. They couldn't find the money to pay the teachers and the police and all those different aspects of the people that they were owing to, but they can find it now. And again, I have made this statement. I'm gonna say it tonight, and I will put my head on the block. Millions of dollars are going to spend in this next year election because the global elitists cannot afford to have Mia Mottley removed from office. It is not going to serve their interest based on what they want to do and use this country in terms of being a staging ground for some of the things that they want to implement globally. And it's not something that we can ignore because it is happening globally, it's happening worldwide. And when I look at her involvement globally, nothing to do with developing aspects for tourism and those kind of aspects for Barbados. It's all about climate change. I don't hear
Yeah,
her talking a lot about my country on the global stage.
yeah. And let me just take this call off air. I think this call I need to take off air. Continue, guys.
Yeah, Maxine,
Okay.
you were saying something? I
Yeah,
heard you. Yeah.
I'm gonna. Marcia started to read the response of Mr. Thorne to the news of Mr. Sutherland's um, resignation, but I'm gonna read the first two paragraphs of the statement because I think she referred to his comment in Parliament, but he also commented about the quote unquote resignation, and it says the Prime Minister may have wittingly revealed more than she intended when she disclosed that Mr. Sutherland requested to be relieved of his portfolio, quote unquote, after discussion. That's the point that you touched on.
Yes.
And then he went on to say, one can therefore conjecture as to the nature and content of that discussion that preceded what must have been Mr. Sutherland's dismissal. And then the paragraph that Marcia read about during the budget reply, he characterized it as the voice of Jacob.
Yes, Miss McLean, just let me pause you there. We have the speech. That's what
Okay, great. Okay.
So Dave, go right ahead, please. Thank you.
The Prime Minister may have unwittingly revealed more than she intended when she disclosed that Mr. Sutherland requested to be relieved of his portfolio, and I quote, after discussion, unquote. One can therefore conjecture as to the nature and content of that discussion that preceded what must have been Mr. Sutherland's dismissal. During my budget reply in 2024, I characterized Mr. Sutherland's various pronouncements on housing as being the voice of Jacob, while there was a different hidden hand of Esau at work infelicitously. I speculated even then that he would be sacrificed for the scandalous Hope Project, for which the entire cabinet ought to have taken collective responsibility. It remains a fact that the $60 million was voted and approved by the cabinet out of the Housing Credit Fund. Mr. Sutherland has been the hapless messenger who did the public lifting of heavy infelicity. Again, It was Mr. Sutherland's voice of Jacob that brought to Parliament that infamous land gift resolution of the public property at Gemmett's Lane to Afrexim Bank. Mr. Sutherland has become the government's hapless messenger of its failures in relation to its housing and lands program. He has been going around the country counting the construction of private houses while seeking to persuade Barbadians that the government is in some way responsible for these private enterprises. Mr. Sutherland's many failures have been the government's many failures. One well remembers a statement made by the Prime Minister after the 2022 election, in which a veiled threat was made to Mr. Sutherland as to the consequence of his expected failure to oversee the construction of 10,000 houses in 5 years. The abandoned houses at Poole St. John now stand as an unhappy testament to his government's many failures in housing. During my budget reply earlier this year, I again lamented Mr. Sutherland's invidious role and anticipated his sacrifice by the Prime Minister. As to his replacement, Mr. Sutherland and a few of his colleagues will now discover that the BLP is settling into its real identity. And in his time left, he will realize that the hierarchy in the BLP is less related to merit and more related to privilege. The political crisis is not Mr. Sutherland's alone. This entire government is in crisis, and the people must now patiently await their relief from the entire government.
Well said. Dave, if you could put back Mr. Thorne's picture there, because I am just the way I came on here and I gave Jack the jacket for Sheriff Veronica, which you would have never thought I would come on and say that, because I know a lot of you think, but the truth is this, that Mr. Thorne, he has, this man you see on the screen, the what he's had to bear from those people inside there. I don't know how he gets up and go there on a Tuesday. I don't even know how he does it. And I want Barbadians. This is a very serious thing, This is very serious that they think that they can, in firing Mr. Sutherland, that this is them sweeping something underneath the rug. Okay? Fire Mr. Sutherland will let us stop thinking about the 60 million. We will forget about it all. And then planning an election, people. This is the arrogance of this government. Now you're not planning an election because you believe you have swept this under the rug. As Mr. Thorne said, that this Sutherland is who they use. You remember, to carry the message to us about the Afrexim Bank there at Gemmett's Lane. So he must be the little yard, well, I was going to say boy, not that I'm calling him a boy, I'm using the term, right? Is he the one that he just there to carry water? It makes you want to think. I want you to think, though. We're not into no gossip here. This is not a gossip show. What we're trying to do is educate you so nobody come and fool you. The last administration that was in, you thought that they were so corrupt because somebody came, and that's the narrative that you were fed. And some of you would tell me you were convinced about that. And what did you do? You went to the poll and you voted them out. Some of you, same one, you're seeing the corruption, and all you're telling me, oh, well, let's pray for the Prime Minister. So why you never did just pray for the other government? Election is around the corner. I'm not on here playing jokes. I'm not on here I could have been in my bed resting this evening. We're not joking here. We're not idiots. We must not allow anybody to take us for idiots. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I want reason with you, Barbadians. I want to reason with you. The polls are going to be open very soon. They are planning elections. They have all the paraphernalia has already come in. Do you hear me? So what they're doing is a part of the cleanup. The Carfesta, all of that is part of the campaign. They're going to end with the gathering. The we gathering, they're going to end with that. And they expect us that we will drink all of that Kool-Aid. We will line up and we will put the X at their name again, even though there is such a cloud, a dark cloud of corruption, a dark cloud of criminality, a dark cloud of gangsterism, right? Sexual perversion, right? Pedophile, philia. I'm going to say it because it's what it is. What about the little boy whose his bottom is burst up? Shut in the ears if you don't want to hear it. I hear that from a doctor, from somebody within the government. Burst up the little boy bottom. You want me to talk straight? Huh? And you're going to tell me you're praying about it, that nastiness. You use your right and you got them out. I'm not playing with you all. I don't care who you put in there. Oh, nobody's there. Put a stick, but a clean stick. Put a stick. You think we're on here we're playing jokes on here? And come out to the march on Saturday. They were afraid of the march. Dr. Ferdinand said something she mentioned about marching and all of that. She's nervous of the march.
You know, Marcia, several years ago, Maxine, I don't know if you recall a former Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago by the name of Chambers. Okay, you're muted if you responded.
Yeah, I was saying yes. It was George Chambers. It was George.
Yeah,
George. I don't know if it was George.
I think he served one term in Trinidad.
Very short. Very short
term. And I was in Trinidad at the time. I was living there at the time. And I remember the Trinidadians saying, if you bring a Doberman, we can vote him in before him. So, Marcia.
I remember Chambers.
Yes, I know. A stick may not be too bad. But, you know, I made a note here on the top of my notes. When I listened to the Prime Minister's speech, I wrote down circumstantial evidence, because I was examining several things. One, her body language. Two, her lack of confidence in terms of how she was delivering what she was saying. And three, what was the content of what she had to say. And it all spoke to me. And I will say this, Marcia, Maxine, they want to make a change of the president in November. I know what has been alleged to be the replacement. They're going to call an election before that, because they're going to want to make sure they don't upset the people with that decision and that choice before the election. And I'm going to suggest that election call is going to be sometime between now and the end of November.
Yes, we were discussing that. I was discussing with a friend today, and we believe it's just, and this is part of the cleanup. And somebody even said to me here, you know, could it be, and we don't know, but could it be that this was allowed, this whole fiasco or allegation, or as Ms. McLean said, you know, Mr. Sutherland would need to get some, do some legal consultation, read this, you know, if it's not true, he should, you know, get some legal representation, etc. Read the stuff that's out on social media. But could it be, listen to Mr. Thorne, I am wondering, viewers, and somebody said, could it be that it was leaked out there so that this is a time that they you know, they're able to pull in this man by the neck? You see, because remember, they're getting ready for election. So all of those, you know, those people that are would create a problem, they are deciding that they're going to, you know, they're pulling them in. Could it be that's what it is? Yeah. Guys, the phone is open. The phone line is open, and as I said, this is a very serious thing. And Barbadians, you have to decide. The decision day is coming up for you, and you must decide what kind of government you want to govern you. I would take a stick than this kind of nastiness that is going on. Welcome to the Marcia Weekes Show. Good evening.
Yes, good evening, Marcia, and to the panel.
Yes, sir.
What I want to say is that I'm not surprised really, because look at it this way: that housing project, what Barbados did not really make a fuss about, besides the mismanagement of the first set of funds. What I didn't even hear it from the opposition leader was I call it patch money. Did we hear about the patch money? In other words, because there had to be a set of money to fix the mismanagement. You're there with me, or
yes? No, I'm listening to you. Go right ahead, sir.
Right. Anyway, going forward, I hope that you have your pen, because I think you know a lot of math. I don't know too much. Have you counted the casualties? And have you all been counting the casualties of the war, inverted commas? From I think it started with Dr. Agar, Lucy Moore,
Crystal Hayes, Hero,
let's see
Corey
who
Lane.
Then it was Crystal, I think. Well, in fact, it really first started from the late Honorable
Seymour Arthur.
Prime Minister Arthur. He was. I think he was probably the first
victim.
First of such.
Yeah.
The first victim of such what I would call a militaristic mobilization, because what I think Barbados is not understanding is that this is not politics as you are seeing as usual. You are looking at the incorporation of highly skilled military minds who are in the background, lurking, as the saying goes, lurking. So without me having to go through the list, because the list is quite long. I don't know if I don't need to go through that list. It's quite long, ending with Minister Lane and you are there that you can go through that list. But what I'm not pleased about is that there's not enough ruction on the ground as it relates to the first set of monies, and then there's no mentioning of the patch money, and then you can see the potential not government general president to come in her theatrical flair, having her head down and then positioning up all this, trying to impress people that the public accountability is in its glory days of bipartisan forensic auditing. So with all this done, you haven't even heard about the World Cup. Is it World Cup or the cricket thing? That monies have not been audited to the point that the public know. Now then, this set of funds here with the Carifesta, it is as if that all these things are happening, and it's like how children in Barbados. I'm not sure if in Jamaica if it was the same way, but in Barbados there was a time children used to be like you could Maxine will know we're talking about. You could be heard but not. They say children are to be seen but not heard.
Yes.
It was a. Hi, you're there?
Yes, the children are not heard. Not heard.
Right, and then the next part of it too, the part B was that they should be kept on a need to know basis. So what I feel is that ministers have got into Parliament. We the public, give them the power to be there, and then they behave as if like to ask them a question like Senator Dr. Haynes, Crystal Haynes, for her to ask a question, she was banished. So that people got it, whether, and this is not trying to pull strings with the LP, alone, or to try to say, but people got to look. Well, I'm not hearing the third parties either. The third parties got to open their mouth and let their voice be heard, because what is happening in Guyana could literally happen in Barbados, where people are trying to take away the fix. I call it a fix. Because Barbados and Guyana, they are twin in terms of ideological constructs with politics, and both countries have to keep their eyes on what's going on, because they mirror each other. I think, if I have my way, I would think that I think Barbados probably more guides them in terms of strategy than anything else. But anyway, enough said for the evening.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for calling. Lots to think about. Thank you. Always a pleasure hearing you. Thank you so much.
All the best to you too.
Yes, thank you. Now, folks, you know what, we're hearing that the president elect. At first it was being said it was Liz, but it seemed like his lieutenant Jeffrey Bostic, who, you know, he was the former minister of health. You remember him? Everybody remember him?
Yes.
Who resigned
Lieutenant Colonel. You left off part of his title. You said lieutenant. He's Lieutenant Colonel.
Lieutenant Colonel. Thank you so much.
He's a colonel. Colonel.
Colonel. Did I say it? I'm right. What is
Yeah,
it?
Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey.
You didn't say the colonel. There's a difference between a lieutenant and a lieutenant colonel. And a lieutenant colonel. I say lieutenant. You say lieutenant. Same thing.
Okay.
The colonel is the critical thing.
He was a former minister of health, and we will remember that he resigned over the COVID scandal. What we need to also know is that it has been said he's related to Mia Motley, possibly the uncle. So we have to ask Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Bostic, are you the uncle of Mia Motley? Because I don't know. I would love to know. Sir, are you the uncle of Mia Motley? I know you all watch it. Some of you BLP, can you just message me and let me know, is he the uncle of Mia Motley? And is he virtually the president-elect that they're planning to install in November? But then we remember, what do we remember about? When we think about Mr. Bostic, wonderful man. When we think about Mr. Bostic, do we remember the scandal that was around? Not that he made sure. Did you remember he made sure that, listen, he told the Barbadian public, I know nothing of this COVID, this vaccine scam. You remember when Barbados was being scammed?
Yes.
And he, the Minister of Health, did not write a letter. He did not request the vaccines. I'm using vaccine here now. But I wanted people to remember, he did not request the vaccine. Somebody pull up that. Harlem, pull up that for me, somebody. We're going to remember on here tonight, because if they think, unless I don't have breath in my body, they think we are going to sit down on here and let you come and Jim Screechy an election on us in October, November, and think we're not going to remember. You remember that didn't he resign?
Yes, he did.
Didn't he resign?
He resigned as a result of that scandal with a couple of individuals who were supposed to have purchased vaccines for Barbados, who were not authorized to do so.
Who were not authorized. And Mr. Bostic was quick to clear his name to say, I had nothing to do with that. I don't know about, because the Deputy Prime Minister came out and gave a speech, and she said, you know, this was done through the Ministry of Health. And Bostic come out and say, hell no. Which Ministry of Health? I don't know anything about that.
Marcia, I have it. Can I read it for you?
Just send it to Dave, please, so he can put it on the screen. Because I don't want my Barbadian people to forget. Don't let nobody turn it to idiot. Take him for idiot. I want come now with a little election. Come with election now. Because there's an election in Guyana, election in Jamaica, St. Vincent and the Grenadines going to have election. They want to put all the little dirty things underneath a carpet. But it's not going to happen, because we're not
in Barbados.
No, not unless we have breath in our body. Read it, Miss McLean, till Dave put it up.
This is an article by Kareem Smith. I'm looking for the date. It says, by an apparent deal surrounding the quote-unquote purchase of COVID-19 vaccines allegedly for the Barbados government is at the crux of legal action recently filed in the United States law courts involving millions of dollars and a well-known Barbadian businessman. However, Minister of Health and Wellness Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Bostic has denied any dealings with or knowledge of the multi-million-dollar operation intending to secure vaccines for use in Barbados. The legal papers name local prominent businessman Mark Maloney as the one behind the intended purchase. And it goes on to describe those things. It goes on, there's a paragraph, it says, in fact, let me continue. Last Friday, Radical Investments Limited, a company formed in St. Lucia with principal place of business in Barbados and whose principal is named as Maloney, filed a lawsuit claiming to have been deceptively lured into an elaborate US 10.2 million scam for 1 million of non-existent doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine through Floridian company Good Vibrations, U.S. court documents obtained by Barbados today indicate that Radical Investments was authorized by Barbados's Ministry of Health and Wellness to procure vaccines on its behalf for the purpose of vaccinating nearly 300,000 citizens of the island of Barbados. The documents also claim that half a dozen defendants were involved in the massive scam that included the provision of false statements to the Prime Minister of Barbados. When contacted on Tuesday morning, however, Minister Bostic said, and I quote here, "I don't know anything about this one," in response to numerous questions on the matter. Calls and messages to the Ministry of Finance, or to the Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Ryan Strong, went unanswered, and efforts to reach Maloney were unsuccessful.
Yes.
Court documents, and it goes on to say the price for the vaccines were set at this. A commission of $2 million was to be paid to Good Vibrations upon delivery.
Yeah, we need to go. We need to remind people the moment they push up their head and say it's him. We need to remind people. Actually, we're going to go into this here and remind you again. There's a caller on the line. Go ahead, caller. Welcome to the Marcia Weekes Show. Go right ahead, caller.
Hello?
Yes, go right ahead, please.
To speak to you offline, please, Marcia.
Okay, you want to speak to me offline, so I'll call you after the show then, ma'am. Okay?
Yes, please.
Yes, no problem. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yes. Listen to me. Listen to me. Folks, I'm serious tonight. I don't want people to take us for idiots. You understand me? Don't take us for idiots. I saw in the Jamaica election there, where they were reminding Andrew Holness that the Integrity Commission, they have an independent body in Jamaica, the Integrity Commission, said that Mr. Holness had 28 accounts. That information is all over Jamaica. And he has a cloud of corruption over his head. Let's see if the people are going to put him back in. I don't know.
You know, Marcia, I got a call today. I'm not going to say from which country and from which institution, but I got a call today in terms of something I'm working on. And the individual was recommending to me how to register and how to set things up so that my name would not be visible at all in any form of search with regards to finances. And I thought to myself, through something called trust. I mean, Maxine, you probably would know a lot more about this kind of stuff than I would, but through something called trusts, where your name is not there in terms of how it is set up. Mm-hmm. And she was sharing with me how impossible it is to be able to track funds that are belonging to an individual as a result of things like this. And it's going to be extremely difficult, even if an administration incoming seeks to do, to pursue. It's going to be a very difficult aspect when one considers how persons move around the world and who they contact and who they connect with. You're dealing with persons who are experts at this type of thing. And I just want to say that it is my view that no politically affiliated individual should be in the position of president. None. The person should not have been a former involved minister, nothing. I look at people like Dame Nita Barra, who I admired, absolutely. Look at someone like Sandra Mason. And I believe the person should be a person of integrity, a person that is respected by the people of our country and not involved in active political involvement of any kind. That's my personal view.
Yeah. And I'm here thinking, Miss McLean, about the gall of these people, that they feel that they can let us provide food and drink and walk up. And in their mind, they're feeding the hungry belly people, right? They're feeding hungry belly people. But Barbadians, you need to let them know you're not hungry belly. Do you understand me? Let them know you're not hungry belly. And they thinking that they're going to give you something to drink and to walk up to. And then you are going to go in blindly and vote for them. That's what they think. That's what they think. They're going to come, listen to me, they're going to, when the election is called, because they already, look at the amount of money that they have splashed on Carifesta. You think they don't have more money?
Oh, they have a lot of money.
Do you understand that the paraphernalia, all the flags and the t-shirts and so on, they're already in Barbados for this election, and people are hungry? And guess what? They consider you hungry belly. So what they're going to do, they're going to make sure that they give you food. That's what we have come down to. That's what our vote has come down to. That's what it is. We've lost our dignity. Where we're going to take the food from them. And we're going to take 2 walk-ups from them. Huh? And then we're going to be willing now to go like a lamb to the slaughter and forget all that they did in this country. That's what they expect. That's what they expect to happen. Are we going to allow that? Saturday is a march. She loves to say that it's only a few. Listen to me. If there were thousands out there, she would not be saying that there were only a few, but she's still afraid of the few.
Of the few.
She is still afraid of the few. Every single one of you need to be at the march on Saturday demanding accountability. Somebody says, oh, they have no accountability. They have no accountability because you have not demanded accountability. You have not demanded accountability. You're waiting on somebody to demand accountability for you. Get up off your butt and demand accountability. You went and you voted for them in the hot sun. You should be demanding accountability and not ready now for them to take you for an idiot and voting again for you to vote again for them. Elections, just a matter around the corner. That's what they plan to do. And they think that they're going to call it when they think that the opposition is not ready. None of those parties ready. That's what they think. And they're going to call the election for that. Go ahead and call it. There's some good thinking Barbadians living in Barbados, and you're going to see something. You're going to see something. You're going to learn a lesson about Barbadians. Call it. Call it. Go ahead and call it. I dare you. Call it, and you're going to see. And as long as we have breath, we're going to tell on you. We're going to remind the people about what you have done in this country. There's a caller on the line. Good night, caller.
Yes, a blessed night to you, Marcia Weekes.
Yes, sir.
For that, I'm Marcy McLean. My name is Thorne Hall. What I will have to say is, I would love to be able to keep those open. The reason why? I remember it was an evening. I hear my mother praise the Democratic Party. She stated that she want we get yourself organized for the next election. Well, we well organized, we are happy, and we have a very powerful togetherness and enlightenment and positivity going on for us. Well, her Red Kool-Aid party is, throwing away right now. Everything's going to go on drain right now. So basically, I would love Bajans to really listen, observe, and recognize that the BNP is not the power party that people think it is, the superheroes. They're just a corrupt, dark set of people. You understand? So basically, beyond one, the Democratic Party, the new Democratic Party got ideas. And we got what? Strategies. You understand? So when everybody talking about Democratic Party, this and ready and this is 34, we want already. You just got call election. I want my money call election. That goes through. I want my money call elections.
Yeah. Thank you so much, caller, for calling. Thank you so much. Yes. Are you going to the march on Saturday? Will you be at the march?
Marcy, you should know I'm loyal to Barbados, and I'm also really our family together. So I'm going to the march.
Okay, well, looking forward to see you there as the
I didn't want to bring an
loyal
army.
opposition.
Right. I didn't want to bring an army too.
Well, you should bring an army, because it is this important. I'm all fired up because we have all the information. And we're going to remind you. And it's up to you. We can't force people how to vote, but I'm telling you,
Exactly.
they will get the information and they will make a choice. And I tell people on here saying, oh, the DLP not ready. Regardless of what the DLP does, they're going to say that they're not ready. They have a problem.
Exactly.
Yeah, listen to me. There are lots of these people, anyway, I'll leave it at that. But thank you so much for calling, caller. Thank you.
Yes, and blessings to you. I got more to say though, but blessings to you.
Yes, God bless you.
Okay.
Yes. Right. Yeah. Yes, I see you writing there, Miss McLean. What you writing? So
we're both writing.
What I am writing is my closing comments. I have something to share that will illustrate if what I've been told is the case, that we are looking, as I say, look, but I might not hear is the many missteps of the Mayor Motley administration. Look out for a pullback in the Ministry of Educational Transformation.
Yes.
And I just sent you two documents that were sent to me. So if you want me to comment on them now, I could do so.
Yes, let me just wait for on this, because I don't want to change the topic too much. We want to give them a little something so that we can pick up on it again another evening. But I don't want to change this topic.
I'm not changing, I'm just alerting because I think it's a serious issue as well. We have to be able to multitask. We're not moving away from the topic.
I know. So that's, as I said, just a little bit. Let me just read some of the comments that are here, and then towards the end we will do that. Okay. Dave is reminding us that we are loyal sons and daughters.
But tell Dave, Marcia is reading some comments before, so you.
Yeah, he can leave it up. He can leave it up. That's what it is. Adrian Hines is saying sometimes personal reasons are a polite cover for political factors.
Yes.
Preparing for a leadership challenge or wanting more freedom to speak independently.
Yes.
Justin is saying the DLP has to get busy, and we can't assume that they are not busy. The BLP has saved lots of money through the years and are mobilizing their troops on the ground. Yes, cleaning their list and getting ready to blow the horn. They're cleaning their list. You're correct. You are correct. And not just the DLP, all the other parties in opposition, right? Sharon says, I know all of us make mistakes and deserve second chances, but he could never get my vote for president. Oh Lord. Well, you don't vote for president, Sharon. She will install who she wants for president, right? Thank you, Zaire. Thank you, Zaire. You see, this is the thing I want Barbara to read. I'm not going to say anything. Everybody read what Zaire Campbell. Zaire Campbell, come to the front of the class. Read that. Read that. So months before an election and minister is gone, and we're saying that how ready the BLP is. That's the thing about us, We take the narrative that is given, how ready they really are. And you're telling us and minister is gone today? Shouldn't you be coalescing now and having your team and all of that? Can someone help me, please? How ready are they?
This reminds me, Marcia, of a experience in the scripture in the book of Judges, chapter 7, when Gideon went to fight the Midianites with 300 men. The Midianites were like the sands of the sea. And God caused the men in the Midianite camp to turn on each other with their own swords. We are going to see a spirit of confusion set in the midst of this government between now and election. They will not be re-elected to office. I have said it.
Confusion.
not be re-elected, there is going to be confusion in their midst, and they're going to lose the government.
Well, there is the Reverend said it, but that there's something else that I must say tonight. Before we close out, and somebody says here, "Well, Marcia, you're a scary woman. People must be trembling." I'm not scary. There are other women in this country that are scarier than I am, but you guys would not, you won't admit it. You won't admit it. There are people in here that I would not even stay in one room with them, in the same room with them. They are scarier than what they call it, the witch of Endor. Don't even let me get there. All right. People must be trembling. Well, they tremble if they want to tremble. I'm speaking my truth, and I'm standing up for my Bajan people. So you are scary. You don't see scary yet. Tell those at the highest authority in here to take a mirror and look at themselves. See, Scary's right here taking a lie detector test. You see how scared her face is? How scary she is taking a lie detector test. But let me tell you, on the matter of lie detector tests and all of that, let me tell you something. I would rather to work with somebody who has done their time. Okay, I would rather people. I see a lot of you talking about, this person, they should be banished from society because they did time in prison. Listen to me. If the public the Integrity in Public Life Act, you understand me? If that was ever to be passed, a lot of these will be locked up in jail for lots of them. What about these pedophiles? What about all of this rape stuff and all of that? What about all of that? That don't matter to you? That don't matter to you? You would rather people who thief from you, who scam you. There's somebody in this country in government whose name has been on the international scene involved in scams. All the big scams in Barbados, their name has been mentioned. But they're walking around dressed up, spokey on a platform, and fooling you and tricking you. You would rather that, right? You would rather criminals leading you, mixed up in the drug cartel. Listen to me. I got people overseas, and I hear that some of them are being investigated. I hear that some of these here involved in the drug cartel. You understand that they're being investigated. No wonder a lot of these people want to call election quick. Let me tell you something, Barbados. I would rather somebody, you do your time and you come out and you're rehabilitated, than some of these criminals dress up in suit, pedophiles dress up in suit, robbers, thief land, thief all kind of things in this country. Don't get me started in here. Okay? All of these things, that the atrocities that is being alleged that they have done, and they don't spend a time, they don't get a day. I would rather work with somebody that get a day. You hear me? I would rather work with somebody. I know what I get in. I would rather work with somebody that get a day. You see the people in Guyana? That man take care of them as whatever you want to say. The one from the Win Party I'm talking about. Yes, we have got a bunch of crooks running around in this country and entertaining criminals. Have criminals in the parliament, and acting like you better than everybody else. Everybody's so corrupt. $7,500 check flying through a window miraculously and dropping on your desk, and you didn't get a day. You didn't get a day. But people that get their days, we must not speak to them. People telling me, don't bring those people on my show. Well, you're going to have to stop watching it. I tell you no. Stop watching it. Because if you can be a criminal and you still part of the government, you can mix up in drug dealing and you still part of the government. You can still be wielding a gun. Minister, you're going to tell me you are in government and you are carrying an illegal firearm? Come and tell the people that I'm telling lies. Come, it's only because I can't call the name. Come and tell the people I'm telling lies here tonight. Huh? You are a leading person in government, and the police catch you with illegal firearm and can't do nothing to you. Huh? The level of corruption happening in this country. And then you are come telling me somebody that do a day. Don't even bring that to me. Don't bring that foolishness. Yeah, go ahead. Caller, good night. Welcome to the Marcia Weekes Show.
A blessed good night to all.
Good night to you.
My submission tonight is RX.
Yes, go ahead.
We needed change, and we got it. Now, was the change what we needed or what we intended?
Mm-hmm.
RX determines what we want or what we expect from those who we elect. So if we elect people who are friends of criminals, RX tells the kind of people that we want to govern us. Now, if the allegations of criminals being invited as honorary guests is true, are the protected services being forced, well, the name got changed from forced, being serviced to conform with cut pay to also honor these guests? This is something very important, because we are looking at protective services who have not been paid, and yet who are still demanded to protect or be escorts for these criminals when they are honorary guests. It doesn't add up. So obviously it is unethical to charge your guests, isn't it so?
Correct.
It would be unethical to charge your guests. So maybe this is the reason why we have so much crime, because they're honorary guests. Sounds funny. Now, the people who trusted in this government, I believe that they are going to be embarrassed at what is going to be revealed. But don't you know that some would be so embarrassed that they will vote for them again, just to hide their own shame? Sounds funny? Now, I believe that we should demand the change that we need, and we should also police the change that we expect. So regardless of how we feel about the opposition, we need to listen to two sides of the story and then judge righteously. Now, Brother Furley said something very important tonight that I believe that we should do some consideration about. The president should not be politically affiliated. And I believe that in order for a government to be installed, you must have a president. That's what I believe. Because in my estimation, the president is who the person who installs the government after they've been elected. So chances are, as Brother Freddie you have said, they need to install a president first. Now, I am saying that the president should not be politically affiliated, because when it comes to certain decisions, obviously the decisions are not going to be fair, they're not going to be just. We seem to have a family affair government. And, you know, it is really heartbreaking when we can find ambassadors being family. Ambassadors who used to speak up against the ills of the government. No, sorry, people who used to speak up against the ills of the government are now installed as ambassadors to be paid by the same government, and obviously they're going to keep their mouths closed. Are we living a life where we can be bought so that we would not be able to stand anymore for what is right and what is truth? So I'm saying there are a lot of ambassadors who are more politically affiliated than country affiliated, and we must call these people back home. Well, I don't know if home is the right word, but we must try to get these people to understand that their allegiance is not to any political party, but their allegiance is to the country Barbados and to its flag, so that they would uphold and defend its honor, and by their living to do credit to their nation wherever they go, regardless of who the prime minister is or says.
Yes.
So that's my submission.
Wow. Excellent. Ms. McLean, any thoughts on that? Thank you, caller. Thank you for calling. Always
Yeah,
a pleasure.
I want to zoom in on one comment that the caller made about election and having the head of state, the president, to swear in a new government. He is correct. Now, of course, if the current, because we have introduced, the government has introduced a new situation where we have a 4-year term. And the current president, I understand that term comes to an end in November. So based on what he's saying, it suggests two things. One, you either have an election before that term comes to an end, or you have to wait until after. And there seems to be some urgency that you were discussing for some of the reasons, because the longer you stay in office, the more the public is exposed to your incompetence, your inefficiencies, all the ills that we have been talking about. So that probably explains some of this urgency and why we're trying to create a situation to suggest we're doing something about a major ill that has been on the lips of the public. That is the problem with housing and the poor performance of that ministry and the several ministers that were in there. And I would extend it to say the decisions of cabinet, because I still contend that, and I speak specifically of the whole project, a single minister, and I would say a minister, I would argue, show me otherwise, but I would argue that decisions about who would have been recruited, who would have been appointed to the board, were not decisions of the minister. I would argue, unless somebody could show me otherwise, that instructions were given and the cabinet just accepted what was put on the table. In other words, that came from on high. That didn't come from a minister. So what you're trying now to do is to kind of make yourself look good by supposedly acting. And as we have said earlier in this discussion, and I certainly made the point, you have a minister who frankly was there taking instructions, being thrown to the wolves or under the bus or thrown to the sharks, whatever, however we want to describe it.
Yes.
So I found the gentleman's comments quite interesting.
Very, very, very interesting. There's a comment on the screen there about this Mrs. Thorne and the subvention for his campaign. That and you know, it's a very very important point here, because the subvention is how much, Miss McLean? You remember the figure?
It's either 150,000 or something like that.
165 or
50
something
or
like that.
something like that is
Right, right. And that subvention has not been given in the almost 7 years.
no.
Nobody has ever gotten it. So
No, I
what?
understand, and I might be correct that it all was taken by
Right.
the
So I was
government.
about to say that I was told by Mr. The former leader of the opposition, which is Reverend
Athlete.
Atherley, and I was in his presence when he said that the prime minister took all of it for herself. She took all the money and they used it in their campaign.
So it probably
And
happened again and again and again.
and again and again. And so this is supposed to be a yearly subvention.
I believe so, yes.
So people can calculate how much money the opposition would have had.
I would have to check.
Can somebody double check if that was supposed to have been a yearly
I will see if I can get that information.
Okay. Now, some of you're adults. We're adults. Adults vote. But think about it. If it is that there is supposed to be a subvention that this political party is supposed to get, they have not gotten it. The prime minister have decided that she's going to take all of it for herself, her and her party, and they use it on their campaign. And when the election comes and you don't see all the flags that you want to see, the very big stages, all the ads on the radio, etc., you are the same ones that are going to complain and say, oh, the DLP not ready. Do you know that it's going to take money for the DLP to be ready? It's going to take money for the UPP to be ready. It's going to take money for any political party to be ready. It needs money. It is supposed to have money. And they know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly. And you know what? There are lots of people who don't want to give to a political campaign because they feel that if they're known, if people know that they've given to the campaign, then guess what is going to happen? They're going to be victimized. That's what they think. And I want to say to the loyal opposition, begin to, if election is coming up, I'm going to say something really daring. I'm stepping out on a limb and saying something here. I've discussed it with no one. It's my opinion. I'm sharing this opinion. It's my thought. My thought is this. If we believe in democracy, if it is that you believe in having a one-party state is a threat to democracy, I'm appealing to everybody that's listening. Put your money where your mouth is. Begin to save up and give something towards these parties. Whatever the parties that you want to support in the opposition, there are several parties. You've got to pull your pocket and invest in democracy. It's an investment in democracy. Don't complain when you don't get the campaigns and you don't get the ads. Where are they supposed to get the money from? They're going to need corporate help, all the parties. Last election, I was helping the APP. They had no money. He was the one in opposition and he had no money. Reverend Atherley had no money. Because he did not get the subvention. And a lot of you sit down here, you laugh at that. And you laugh, you go and you complain. They don't have enough banners and they don't have enough t-shirts and they don't have enough this. Supposing if the election is in October, where you think these parties are going to get the money from? Let's be real and stop being hypocritical. Huh? Where are they supposed to get it from? Let us make a decision that we are going to invest in democracy. Defy her. She wanted to take all the money and put her on Jamaica, put her on her skirt. Right? I am saying to you guys, make an investment in democracy. They cannot survive without your help. Yeah? Somebody's saying here something on the screen there.
Marcia, I listened to you and I put back at that comment because I think that's an important one. Because, and it says Kenneth Norville, and as a member of that commission, we worked for about a year or so. Ms. McLean, the DLP has demonstrated how efficient that they were able to, that we were, of course, that we were able to convene a commission and deliver a report without funding. Let them keep the subvention. I think he means God will provide. I want to say a couple of things about this because I feel very strongly about this. The Barbados Labour Party, and I would say observing the Prime Minister, I've been around from the time of Tom Adams as Prime Minister and so on. So I've been around a long time. The current Prime Minister seems to believe that one of the best things she can do is throw around money. And therefore, I think that in holding on to a subvention, I mean, that was a decision that was taken. I think Mr. Murray has spoken about that. I don't have to repeat it. That holding on to that money is some way of, well, and I certainly in empowering her party if she keeps all, as we understand, if you say that has happened, and somehow preventing the other party from doing things. There are a couple of things I would say to the Prime Minister. If you don't think that the DLP is worthy of a subvention, don't come and ask. And this is Maxine McLean speaking, not in any official capacity. I am not a member of any, other than a member of the General Council, by nature of the fact that I'm a former cabinet member. So I speak as Maxine McLean, speaking for myself. If you feel that you are going to penalize people by doing that, you go ahead and do it. But we, and certainly as one of the people who would have been serving this party since I became active in it, we have done so not because we have to have money for everything, but because we bring our skills, our knowledge, our commitment. And Barbadians need to understand that everything does not revolve around the buying and selling of things. And this is what is destroying our people. People, as you said, Marcia, don't sell your vote. Don't think that you can't get things done. Look at this show, Marcia. You have no sponsorship. No. You have a march. You will come to the members of the loyal opposition and the public at home and abroad and say this is what it will cost us. Or if you don't have the full costing, when you have finished expending whatever you report back. And you do those things on a prayer and a wing and a prayer, so to speak. And so we did this because you had a team of persons who were committed not only to the DLP, but to the country and to making a difference and addressing issues that are important. I therefore say to Barbadians, all the razzmatazz and the millions of dollars that will be spent, that would have been spent to buy the contents of the containers that are sitting where they're sitting now, somewhere in Barbados, because they're probably cleared from the port by now, and that some of that would have come in when they had the by-election. All of those things are fine. But I would also say that some of that money would be better spent empowering some of our young men who, because they have nothing else to do, are out there running amok, etc., or who feel so alienated from this country. So at the end of the day, you made the point. And I agree with you, Marcia, you need it, but we have to say to Barbadians, this, and I, as I said, I speak for myself. I'm not speaking for the president and political leader, Mr. Thorne, or any members of the executive or any members of any branch. I speak in as Maxine McLean, somebody who sits here as a private citizen, but also as a member of this party and as a former minister of government and as a long-time observer of things that political in this country. I think we should say to Barbadians, and this is advice I would give to other political parties as well, because you mentioned the others. Our performance should not, like in terms of campaigning and so on, should not be judged by the razzmatazz, the fancy white chairs, and the hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars spent. So this is annual. The subvention is 300, so it's 150,000 per year. If it is 2, So basically, as the person says, the BLP has taken off in the last 7 years as $2.1 million. But I will say to people, look for what is being offered in terms of the substance. The farm is attractive and so on, but farm in the context of what Mia Motley has delivered versus the substance is chalk and cheese.
Yeah.
And that is
And
my position. Focus on
yeah.
substance and getting out there to the people and showing them how serious you are in making a difference.
Yes, yes. Folks, I want you to do a screenshot of this and so you remember what has happened, and that's why somebody came on here and said God don't like ugly. And you know, I'm telling you, they will not prosper. And you know, their thing is they'll do everything to try to win. They're trying to win this election, doing whatever they see, whatever they think is fit. They're going to do whatever that might be, you know. But I just want us to remember, at your workplace, when you hear people say, but the DLP, their stage don't look good and the sound isn't good, or look at Lynette down the road, she doesn't have a proper sound system, you know, or you know, whatever. The point is this, that these things cost money, right? And if you're not getting any kind of they have all the money. You know, they have all the money. And so we like the glitz and and all of that. And people glitzy and telling you lies, glitzy and thieving from you, glitzy and you know, all kinds of things. But you like glitzy. You see, that's the problem. All right. So I guess people not coming in. They listen to us talk. Let's go to Miss McLean, has something to share. And
Yes.
then Dr. Ferdinand will close.
Okay, very quickly, Marcia. As I said, we as referred to, we sometimes have to walk and chew gum as people in Barbados and process information. And what we dealt with today is a very serious matter. But I want to introduce what can become an equally serious matter, perhaps. If what I was told, somebody sent me some information and I realized I got it from more than one source. And I asked the question, and this is to as I said, the many missteps, and I call it the many missteps of the Mia Motley administration. We were talking about some of them when we looked at housing and the demise of the former minister of housing. And I am looking now at the new minister of educational transformation. And I am saying to people, look out for a pullback, because I will ask the question, is there any truth to what is being rumored? And this is why I was scribbling down, Marcy, so that I don't forget what I want to say. That the ministry has issued a memo, and that memo speaks, among to other things, to a single timetable for our primary schools. Now, if I can recall correctly, the role of the Ministry of Education is to ensure that there's a standard curriculum or set of curricula for the schools to follow. Mm-hmm. My understanding is, I mean, my son left primary school some time ago, but my memory still serves me fairly all right, that the timetabling for each school is done by the principal, by the teachers, and of course, if you get into the secondary schools and so on, where there's a management team, the board of directors, but the management team in all the schools will have a management team, because you will have senior teachers, etc., year heads, or whatever the case may be. I'm not sure all the particulars in the primary school. But the role of the ministry is about policy. Let the delivery and the execution of that policy, the management and delivery, etc., be done in the school. So I am asking that, how practical is this? And I'll just quickly add something, because you see why I think it is important. School begins next week, right? So while we're looking at this, school begins next week. So in essence, some schools may have, what are the resources that they have? What are the skill sets that a particular school, what's the role of the school? How many students are there? How many classes do you have to schedule? So if you're going to send curriculum, a timetable, sorry, to a school in rural Barbados that has just maybe less than 200 students, to another school that has maybe 1,000 in the primary school system or somewhere close to that. So I just want to say that this, before it starts, sounds like a recipe for disaster. And therefore, what I want to flag for parents in particular, that you may find some frustration, and in essence, the school term, along with all the other problems that you get, it may not go as smoothly. Now, this memo talks about introducing provisions for reading and so on. It says, so I think while that may be important and necessary, absolutely necessary, trying to fine-tune how these things happen shows that people do not understand the dynamics, the realities of the school. So the ministry needs to focus on policy. It needs to support programming and implementation, and they should let the people who understand and who have to deal with the peculiarities of a particular school deal with it. For example, some schools have specialized, because if you look at this, specialized maths or English teachers, so you can't schedule the whole, timetable maths in a way that it means that the teachers may not be available. I don't want to go in anymore. I just want to flag it, and so that when parents hear about this and they hear confusion, I end where I started, look out for another pullback. But it would just be similar to what we've been seeing in housing.
Yes. Thank you. As somebody said, a very good point, Ms. McLean. To close off and to remind us of the march that is coming up is Dr. Ferdinand. Go right ahead, Dr. Ferdinand.
Yeah, well, thank you so very much, Marcia. I do want to promote this march on Saturday at 10 o'clock at the Kensington Oval area, right opposite the Da Costa Mall. We're going to be marching, and a series of things that we're going to be engaging. All of the matters to do with the interception bill, all of the matters to do with the tent law, with the other one slips me, immigration and the police and so on. All of this is what brings us out to march on the days that we indicate. And we want to invite all of you really to come. This country depends on us. I've been listening to all that has been said with regards to elections, but at the end of the day, the most sacred element a person has in this country is their vote. That must never, excuse me, be put up for sale for any amount of money. That's like selling your soul to the devil. And I'm saying to you, don't allow anybody to intimidate you into giving them their vote. Take the breadfruit, take the corned beef, and vote them out. As simple as that. But we cannot survive another 5 years of this type of administration. And I'm asking the people of Barbados to support this march on Saturday, September the 6th. This coming Saturday, 10 o'clock at the Kensington Oval, through Bridgetown to Independence Square. And we look forward to seeing you there. Thanks so much, Marcia, for being on the show with us tonight. And Maxine, a joy being here again with you. This has been another Emma moment.
Thank you all, guys, and have a good night. God bless you. God bless you. Please continue to like and share, so that everybody will get what we discussed tonight. God bless you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bring a spoon, pot covered in the air. Let the leaders hear.